Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the pre-show here on August 2nd, 2020. Damn, we're getting some feedback now in Discord because I don't have that gate on.
I like it. More JP, the better.
Yeah, yeah.
Let it wash over me.
Just double the double the JP. Jesus. Anyways, how's it going? What's up? It's been a year. I feel like that's how we start every single one of these shows.
It hasn't, though. It hasn't. It's only been half a fucking year. That's the problem.
No, it's half. July 15th or something like that is the halfway point of the year. You got to look at that. Look at it that way, right?
We're past the worst of it. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, exactly.
There's an election coming up in November. I was hoping, I had my fucking car stolen 2 weeks ago, so I was like, that's my worst week done for the year. But November is still coming, so the jury's out. You know, who knows what's going to happen?
What you had?
Sorry to hear about your car. I didn't know that.
Yeah, what happened with the car? Just a random accident?
No, a series of unfortunate events led to some thieves who had the moxie to put it all together. Who got a spare key that was not supposed to be somewhere and the address of my house, and went to my house and stole my car with a spare key.
Wait,
which really sucked because it's the first car I've ever owned. Yeah.
That's more involved than I expected.
Yeah, I thought it broke a window type situation, but no, they figured out a way of putting all the pieces together and then stealing my my Mustang. That sucked. But insurance will cover it, so I'm not going to complain about it. But it does mean that I'm even more housebound than I was, prior to the rest of this COVID-19 nightmare.
What are you doing with the car in the Bay Area? That's impossible. I tried that for like 2 months before I got rid of mine.
Driving around the hills and trying not to go crazy. It's like my mental health ejector seat whenever I need to enjoy myself. Yeah, it's fun. I like to go to Marin County and drive around there, or go to SF and up until recently I did have a studio I used to commute.
Yeah, that's true.
But everyone's healthy. So that's all that matters.
Well, that's good.
Great.
That's all you can ask for.
And I got my Starquake cup, Dan.
Yeah, me too.
Matching cups. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, JP Starquake cup.
What's a Starquake? We got to explain this.
Well, my dad's watching. He could probably fill us in the most. So this is, don't you know, JP? It's from Starquake. It's the 125th anniversary of Lenexa, Kansas. They had a street festival by Old Town Lenexa. And at the end of it, they printed up way too many of these cups 25 years ago. And my grandpa was never one to turn down a deal. And so he talked to the guys who ran the thing. He's like, oh, can I have all these extra cups? And so they're like, yeah, we have 10,000 of these cups. And so growing up in the Ryckert household, every single Ryckert family member has these everywhere. You will see these in every Ryckert household. And Danny came back to Kansas for Thanksgiving because they don't have Thanksgiving in Ireland, it turns out. And so he came to Kansas 6 years ago to spend Thanksgiving with my family. And he was bequeathed a Starquake cup, which you kept in your china cabinet for a while, right?
Yeah, it's really well. I've always been a huge fan of Quake, so it kind of just
there you go.
Just kind of went in there with my. I've got a boxed cop. The only piece of legitimate swag I think I've ever gotten from anything NoClip is Tim Willits gave me a unopened Quake 3 box.
Oh wow,
which is over there.
Ooh, nice.
So I put this beside it. They're cousins.
Excellent. My dad's proud in Kansas watching this right now.
Jesus, the old Starquake cup.
See you, Paul.
I'm trying to, as a fan of collectibles, which you might see behind me, Danny, I'm trying to see what else. You got a giant bomb skateboard. What are these little figurines you've got over there? They're out of focus.
Which one? The ones over here?
Yeah, I see some amiibos.
Yeah. Hey, look, if we're gonna do amiibo collections, you're really gonna want to see.
Yeah,
Dan's
I know. Dan's a little. Yeah.
He's got the whole shebang. Yeah. So we launched
skateboard. Jump on skateboard.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm a bigger Giant Bomb fan. I've got the poster up there signed by everyone. I think you signed it actually. Oh my God, look at all those amiibos.
Yeah, that's a lot of.
It's a lot of amiibos.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that poster's great.
Oh,
most of my guys over here. I got it's Amiga, but it's all PC game boxes and Unreal Tournament and Half-Life and Rainbow Six and all my Amiga boxes that when I grew up playing Commodore games, they're all there.
This is probably
the first Diana sisters.
No, unfortunately, that never got a box because it was a Polish ripoff of Mario.
Oh, Sensible Soccer.
Oh yeah, I got like 5 copies of Sensible Soccer up there.
I knew you would. Don Bradman's Cricket.
No, unfortunately.
Danny, this might be the first time I've ever said this, these words together in a sentence, but you hanged the baby.
I did. I hung the baby. If you just get a skateboard,
I've got
hook,
my
a
baby
standard
right here.
skateboard hook.
We just
Right.
Yeah. That's the dumbest
Beautiful.
piece.
Oh, you've got the Doom.
This is the dumbest one right here. The dumbest collector's
Wait,
edition.
oh, that's cool. So I have the
baby.
Doom helmet as well. We have the same problem with special editions. But you put like a green light in it.
Yeah.
Is that what that is?
Yes, that is a green. It's effectively just a white light, but the visor's green, so it just shows through. Yeah.
That's cool.
Oh, that's a Death Stranding baby, huh?
Yeah.
Yes, that's a beach baby, or as my child calls it, weird baby.
It's really
Hey,
weird.
that checks out.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's really weird. Yeah. Yeah, I have a collector's edition problem too, where I just get the collector's edition of any game and then end up with a lot of nonsense. But some of them are actually, the baby's bad, but everything else is good, generally.
Yeah, the baby's a problem. The baby just gets worse with the further we get from the launch of Death Stranding, the more sort of obscene and upsetting it is, which I like, which means in 10 years' time, it's really going to be a challenge to explain to people why it's still hanging on that hook.
Well, the value's
also, it was a bad game on day one.
Well, I
heard you're the biggest
Dan
fan
is a known hater of Hideo Kojima.
No, don't get me started on that.
Oh,
People have heard enough of me.
Yeah, are you now that you're a big old influencer, Dan, are you going to do a full playthrough of Death Stranding? PC version coming up soon.
In the chat a lot. And people think it'd be funny, like, oh, what's the sub goal or the bit goal to play through all of Death Stranding? And I always say, like, that's the one thing I don't think I'll ever do because I don't think that's good for anyone. That's not like fun. Like okay, so last night I did a crowd control Mario 64 thing, and that's fun misery. That's good misery where people get to put me through a bunch of hell.
Sure.
Death Stranding is boring misery. Like, no one's gonna like watching that. It's gonna be terrible, and it's like 50 hours long. Not happening.
I'd watch it.
It might be fun. I played through that game for 50 hours and I don't regret it, but man, some of it was, yeah.
Yeah, I said that it was like it's kind of like a Lars von Trier movie where it's like you don't enjoy watching it and you maybe like walk away with like, I don't know, some sort of greater sense of the artist's intent, but like you're not really gonna like recommend it to someone or watch it again a lot of times.
Yeah, I'll never play.
It kind of happens to you. Yeah. It's that game is. It was fascinating to watch how much money you could spend on a really strange idea that's kind of incoherent. And also it's been crazy watching how life has kind of become that.
Right.
Yeah, like post-apocalyptic Postmates has become like part of our day-to-day lives here.
Yep. Yeah.
He's always ahead of the curve.
He is.
We're all going to be delivering Conan O'Brien fucking whatever it was magazines.
I think it was magazines. Yeah. I forgot what you're supposed to deliver them. That game was I haven't seen any like PC mods for it yet, where people can just like break the weight limit and have like a towering, like a literal tower that you're carrying on your back. I haven't seen that yet, but
I've seen Norman Reedus's penis area is smooth.
Yeah, he doesn't have a dick. Apparently,
no.
That's the big reveal. They got the camera and broke the camera and spun it around in the shower. So, you know,
there's that one guy on Twitter. He like breaks PlayStation 4 games for a living. He's like he ingests them into PC and like just like pushes a bunch of code into them. So he's the guy. He's found like a bunch of Bloodborne stuff and.
Okay. I have seen. He's the same guy, the Bloodborne guy.
Yeah, forget his name. I only recognize his Twitter picture, but he was all in that Death Stranding stuff straight away. Yeah, it's cool. It's impossible to keep a secret in games now these days.
Hot
coffee is distant memory.
It is. Yeah. I'm curious for you guys. You brought up PlayStation and Twitter. Somehow, some way, and I talk to my chat about this all the time. I'm on like this fanboy algorithm thing where I get constant PlayStation fanboys that just spew fanboyism nonsense. And I don't know how to like get it off my timeline. It's all over it though. So no matter what, it's just like best exclusives ever. Phil Spencer could suck a dick just nonstop when I'm scrolling. I don't know how I got there. I don't know. I don't follow anyone.
Were you like shitting on Ghost of Tsushima or some exclusive or something or Last of
No,
Us?
like I
they hate
generally
that.
say pretty positive things about. I don't think I've said anything negative about PlayStation, but somehow
Are these people you follow? Are they are they
no,
adding
it's like
you?
suggested. It's like
What's suggested?
yeah, that's like my suggested content is always PlayStation fanboys.
One of your friends, maybe someone you've muted, is constantly shit talking PlayStation, and you've been following them for a long time, and they're like, you know what, JP really likes this.
Maybe so.
You
It's a
want some more
nightmare.
negative content.
It's a nightmare.
JP, what's the worst PlayStation 4 game right now?
The worst PlayStation.
Yeah, because then I can quote it and at you. Yeah, exclusive. Yeah.
Ooh.
Death Stranding. Oh, it's not an exclusive anymore.
Yeah, it's not exclusive anymore. Well, it's
What do we all think
console
of The Last of Us
exclusive.
2?
Yeah, that I learned not. I said Last of Us 2 once, and that's what got me on the list. Was I said Last of Us 2 on Twitter?
Either way, you're screwed.
Yeah, it's a bad time. You got to be careful. Chat saying Days Gone is the worst PlayStation.
Oh yeah, that game's not good.
Yeah, but it's made by a small. It's like it's a fine game, and it's made by such a small team. I feel Bend put their hours in, put their work in. That's my problem. That's my problem. Is that like I am broken now as a critic because I spend all my time talking to developers, so I feel absurd amounts of empathy for them, and I can't criticize anything anymore. Don't listen to anything I say.
You can't go hang out with the enemy, Danny. You just can't do that. That was your fatal mistake. Now you're a gaming dev sympathizer for the rest of
I'm like Jake Sully in Avatar, and developers are the blue people, and you're the coffee swilling marine guy who's chopping down their fucking beautiful habitat.
The guy in the neck with a sword? That's the one thing I remember about that movie. There's a neck with a sword.
I don't remember anything about that movie.
I can't wait to see the dramatic conclusion to that story arc in the next 6 Avatars coming 2025.
That always confounds me when you see that on Twitter. It's like, oh yeah, James Cameron's in New Zealand. They're filming the next Avatar.
Forever.
Sure, yeah, whatever. I don't even remember the basis of that movie. Is that like a human becomes an avatar and hangs out with the alien species, and then like they revolt against the humans, right?
I think you put on a car helmet, you can have sex with trees, but then some people want to get rid of the trees and mechs. I don't know. It's 3D.
Okay. It was 3D, and it ended up being like what was that BioWare game that everyone didn't like?
Dragon Age 2?
No,
where
sorry,
we go,
the other one.
Let's just
Shit.
I don't know what we're
Andromeda?
Anthem?
No.
Anthem?
Damn it. Anthem. Thank you. It had all the floating
right.
Anthem rocks. Remember that? Remember that they just like some throwaway line. It's like, oh, it's just weird gravity. Cool.
Yeah.
In Avatar, maybe there's a reason in Anthem.
Have you guys been to the Anthem, or not the Anthem ride? Jesus, the Avatar ride in Disney World or Land, or whichever one that one is in Florida? Have you seen that? It's actually like an incredible ride. It's real.
Is it one of the 3D ones where it's like there's a screen and it's like simulated like roller coaster type stuff?
Yes.
That stuff can be effective.
Yeah, it was. I waited in line. So we made the mistake of going to Disney on Thanksgiving week, which we learned once we got there that's the busiest week of the year for them every year. It's like the busiest.
Of course,
week.
That's where the pilgrims went.
Yeah,
on that fateful day.
Apparently, we waited 4.5 hours for that ride. That was the longest
I've
ever
stood in line
really? For something. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. But the ride, it was really good. It was a really good ride. It like Dan said,
was it also a roller coaster and 3D? It wasn't just 3D. It was
essentially
also
you get like strapped into kind of like an open air roller coaster thing, but you're not moving. It just kind of does this, like the.
Oh, so it's like Star Tours. Is that what that one's called?
A little bit, but you're not in a row with people. Like you're in your own harness essentially. And you're in like a glider type thing, gliding through Pandora. What
trees?
Whatever the
Avatar.
Pandora,
yeah, something like that.
Did you say Andorra? That's a country between Spain and France.
I said Pandora. It's Pandora,
right?
Okay. It's like the music.
It'd be really underwhelming if you went there and suddenly you were just like in the Pyrenees.
I don't know what's broke about my brain, but like even as a kid, I went to Disney World, and I remember being like 8 years old going around Disney World and being like, "What the hell is this? I hate this place." Like I love amusement parks.
How is that possible?
Here's the thing. I love like high energy, like roller coasters and super intense. I like skydiving. I like adrenaline type stuff. Theme parks are awesome. I love Six Flags, Worlds of Fun growing up in Kansas City. And you go to Disney World and it's like Space Mountain's like an okay rickety indoor roller coaster. And it's like, I think the problem is I never had a real affinity for Disney. It's like Aladdin and Lion King were cool when I was a kid, and that's pretty much the extent of it. So like the whole theme part of it didn't do anything for me. I just wanted crazy rides. And then you go to Epcot, and that's even worse.
Epcot's a bad park. Epcot's pretty bad.
Universal was great. I loved Universal and Islands of Adventure in Orlando. Those are great. Water parks, Typhoon Lagoon, that stuff's great. But Disney World specifically never did anything for me.
Have you been as an adult? I guess no, since you're talking about going as a kid. Okay.
I was in Orlando a few years ago, and I went to Typhoon Lagoon because part of our WrestleMania travel package, you got like a ticket to one of the theme parks. And I was like, I'm going to the water park.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah, I will say I went as a kid. My brother was in the band, and like it was some national, not tournament. You don't go to a band tournament. Whatever bands go to compete at the competition. There you go. That's
NetherRealm, right? Yeah. they have to fight against
a bunch of trombone players just sit there and fight each other. It's how it works. So I went as a kid, and I don't think I necessarily enjoyed it as well. But going as an adult, maybe I have an affinity now for Disney stuff, or I understand what goes into those parks or something. I have fond memories of going. I've been to the one in California like 4 to 5 times since it's next to the Anaheim Convention Center where every convention occurs ever. Like BlizzCon, and I used to work for MLG, so MLG had tournaments all the time there, and and then I've been to the one in Florida twice, I think, as an adult. They're not bad. You go to Epcot now to get drunk, by the way, Dan.
That sounds way better. I think Epcot would be way better.
Yeah.
Does Disney do like Star Wars and Marvel stuff now that they own everything? Like,
yeah.
Have they incorporated that?
So Disney on the West Coast, they just launched their Star Wars thing this past year. So it exists, but you don't really want to go to it because there's the whole COVID thing. So not necessarily the best time.
What's that?
Yeah, well, let's talk about COVID. Let's get into it. It's a lesser known problem right now.
I tell you, my Disney World is going to be that Nintendo theme park in Tokyo. Because I love Nintendo and always have since a kid. And so, like,
Universal.
Universal is really good. Universal is incredible.
That. Yeah, but Universal has that Nintendo thing. They just added it.
But
I don't
really?
Like the deal is now. Yeah. Well, the one in LA anyway. They had it's like down near the lots. You know when you do like the tour, the lot tour. It's They added it. They added like a Nintendo area. I'm not sure if it ever opened yet or what the deal was, but I remember passing there a while back and they were doing some work in it. But it's nowhere near as big as obviously as the it's like Jurassic Park sized. You know what I mean? Like Jurassic Park, the ride in Universal. Sized.
That Universal in LA, it's right by the lots. And one of my good friends works in Hollywood. And so every E3, when he's my old roommate, every E3 I'd go out there and stay with him and stuff. And he would take me onto the actual, like, hey, we're working on movies lot. But it was right next to Universal. So he'd be like, on his lunch breaks, he would just go ride the Jurassic Park ride. And be like, how do you do that? He's like, go watch, I'll show you. And so he knows the side thing you go through, but there are security guards there. And all he does is he just walks with confidence and he acts like he's a construction worker. And he's like, hey, are the hats in here? And they're like, what? He's like, the construction. Never mind, I got it. Let's walk. And you just walk right through. And we just rode the Simpsons ride in Jurassic Park and then left.
It's amazing.
Jesus. I wonder if that would work today. I wonder if confidence works today still. Maybe so.
But everyone's wearing masks. Crime is so much easier these days because we're all wearing masks. It's great.
It's true. You're not wrong. I second that. Universal is a better park for sure than Disney. I went to we went and got like the VIP. We paid for the VIP tour in whichever one is in the Florida area, and it was great. It was fantastic. The Transformers ride there is just phenomenal.
That's good. The Terminator 3D one had just opened when I went as a kid, and I was like at the height of my Terminator obsession. And the Terminator one's fun. Yeah,
I don't know if they had that one in Florida, or if it was still
probably not anymore. I mean, this launched in like 92, 93 or whatever.
Yeah, they had the Mummy one. The Mummy was
all right.
Oh yeah,
it was pretty good. Yeah.
The first time you do that one, it's like the shortest roller coaster in the world. The first time you do, it's like, oh, it's over. All it does is just go fast once, go backwards, and then it stops.
Yeah.
You're like, oh shit,
Oh,
That's like it's really good when there's a short line, but there's no way I would wait for that one because it's just like done. At least the LA one anyway. I've never been to Universal
the one
Florida.
in Florida was a little bit different because like it's a normal ride or whatever, and then they have like a fake undocking station, and the mummy takes the person over that's like saying that, hey, please get off the ride, and like the mummy like bursts through her chest and like takes over, and then you just below you like all of this flamethrower pit essentially just opens up, and it's super fucking hot out of nowhere. Then you just like drop straight down, and the rest of the ride continues.
Cool.
So yeah, it was pretty good.
Isn't it funny that the mummy is still like of all the things in Universal, you're like the Simpsons, sure, Jurassic Park, Transformers, and then we get to like this fucking Brendan Fraser movie from like 2000 and
people can't stop talking about the Tom Cruise one.
Yeah, everyone loved that scene where all you could hear was the screams. Do you remember that?
The trailer
released the trailer.
I never.
The trailer, which is like, ah! Ah!
It's really good.
Oh, they fucked up the trailer. I remember that.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Have you just had like one of the like 17 channels of audio they had playing, and it just was the one that had Tom Cruise going. Ah!
I never saw that actual movie. Did either of you watch it?
No, I think they weren't they supposed to launch like a whole Marvel universe type thing?
Yeah,
but then they scrapped it because of that.
Yeah, it did so poorly. They had
there was that, and then Johnny Depp was a sex pest, so that didn't help.
Yeah,
there was a lot of things. That whole thing was cursed. It was cursed, not unlike The Mummy.
I think the Invisible Man, the like more recent movie, was supposed to be a part of that film world. I think that was actually pretty good as well. I haven't watched it, but I heard it was pretty good.
It was good. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's it's mostly it's like a vehicle. It's what's her name? I forget her name. The lady from
It's the girl that I always confuse.
All I know about her is
she's in the Handmaid's Tale.
Is that her name?
Yeah.
Yeah, Handmaid. Yeah, she's
I get her confused with the girl that played Scarlet Witch because I think they both start with Elizabeth.
No, Elizabeth Moss is the Handmaid's Tale one. Elizabeth Banks is like What Hot American Summer.
That's it. That's her name.
Yeah. What's the girl that plays the Scarlet Witch then?
What's the Scarlet Witch?
From Marvel Universe. I don't. God, that's Elizabeth Olsen. Okay, that's the trio.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's Mary-Kate and Ashley's sister.
Oh,
yes.
Interesting. Is she the older one or the younger one? Chat, give me the information.
Older. She's not a twin, as far as I know. She could be. She might be a twin.
She might be.
How bad's my internet, by the way?
It's going in and out of good.
Yeah, sorry guys.
I don't know.
I think everyone in Oakland is ordering weed online at the same time on a Sunday morning.
Oh, is that the big thing to do on Sunday? Is just order a shit ton of weed?
Yeah, I mean that's why my internet's slow because we're ordering a lot of weed on a different computer.
Oh, okay. Sure. Your wife is just
together.
ordering mass amount. Okay.
Yeah, we have our daughter has like a small laptop, and she also just keeps clicking on the order button over and over again.
Yeah,
just to make sure, you never have too much these days.
Do you order everything in San Francisco now via a computer? Do you even go outside anymore? I feel like for all the places you can, the Midwest, you can't really do that for everything. I feel like the SF area, you can do it for everything. When I lived in
Maryland, in Maryland we had, I think there was one pizza place that would deliver to our fucking weird wood house in the woods, and that was it. And like there was no grocery delivery stuff. You just went to Safeway. I when you started doing Instacart like the past 2 weeks, my Safeway was my one time I left the house. But now it's all Instacart because I have the car to go down and do it so much. What about you guys? Like, what's the situation? I'm interested in Dan's as well. New York. Like, do you just go to the supermarket?
We have a car now. We're in Connecticut, so we can actually like go to a grocery store.
Oh my God.
Put stuff in the trunk.
Jesus, I can't believe I forgot you were living in fucking Connecticut.
Well, I forgot too.
I'm a bad friend.
The entire
sorry.
time, so I'm just in this apartment.
But no, it was like when I saw your green screen. When I saw your green screen, I was like, "Where the fuck is that in your New York apartment?" Like,
I just put them in.
Talked like a dozen times.
Yeah, for us, we just go to the grocery. They have like I think the furthest we've got in terms of the technology, you can order online and then just pull up to the store and they'll like match your car type or license plate to the groceries and then put it in your trunk. But we generally do that because here in the Midwest, at least in St. Louis where we live, no one really wears masks. So
Oh, really?
yeah, it's a little dicey. So we usually just do the like, we're gonna stay in the car. You can bring us the groceries, then we'll peel the fuck out of here as fast as possible type situation. But
You're in St. Louis?
Do
Yeah,
they
I'm in
open
St.
the
Louis,
trunk and then like?
what was that, Danny? Oh, I think we
Sorry,
just.
did they open the trunk and then just start like coughing?
No, usually the people. So the nice thing about corporate America is that they have mandates to wear masks. So like the employees all have to wear a mask by, the corporate law essentially. But no one else in the actual store wears masks in terms of people buying stuff there. So.
And my dad's an Uber driver, and they make him, before like he's going out for a shift or whatever, he has to take a picture of himself wearing the mask. I like what airtight security would say, well, there's the picture. He can't take it off. We saw it. It's in a picture.
Yeah. We've got my fiance has a 11-year-old who's starting school here in like 3 weeks, and the way that they're doing that is there's only like 10 kids per classroom, which is good, and they all have to wear masks 24/7 while they're in class. But I think the mandate is that you have to take the temperature of the kid before you take them to school, and then they also take the temperature of the kid to see if you were lying when they get there.
Wow.
And then they take the temperature of the kid at the end of the day and then report that on like the app. So they're taking it pretty serious, which is good.
If there's one thing I've learned from all my friends who have kids, it's that that having a kid during this time makes things infinitely more complicated.
Yeah.
In general too, but during COVID especially, it seems.
It does.
Yeah. I feel like we're really lucky because our kid is only 2. So like she's kind of like, in a way, she's like free entertainment because like we just love hanging out with her and we have a little yard here and we can like go outside and fuck about. And she like gives us joy, obviously, because you love your kids. But she's also like way too young to be like really at risk or anything. Like they don't transmit until like middle school age.
Yeah.
They don't get sick really otherwise. And also she like doesn't get it. Like I feel like the mental health fallout of this whole thing is going to be the like lasting legacy of COVID-19. Like, everything's like, I'm struggling. Like everything's really tough. I don't know. I can't imagine what this would be like if I was a kid and I couldn't hang out with my mates. So as a 2-year-old, like, she doesn't fucking know. You know what I mean? Like she's all she wants is her mom and dad, and her grand and granddad pop over every now and again.
Right.
But like I feel for like almost every kid. I feel like for like kids like that age, like 11 and 12, like teenagers who can't individuate and get outside. Anyone who's going to college, what a fucking bummer. Like, can you imagine your first year of college and you're like paying 20 grand a year to
sit in your computer
from
online.
home?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't think about that. That'd be terrible.
Yeah.
What a nightmare.
Yeah.
Danny, being at your place a year ago, I think at this point, something like that.
Maybe. Yeah.
When you lived in Maryland, it was such an eye-opening experience for me in terms of like, because you always hear that like, having kids is really tough, and it's there's a lot of work that goes into it, and I always believed it, but seeing it firsthand, like how much of a all the time thing it is. I remember it's probably like 11 o'clock at night. And you had this nice deck with like a hot tub out there. And it's like, all right, let's get in the hot tub. We're going to relax. It's a perfect night. Let's go get our swimsuits on and get out there. And so me, you, and Bianca, we all get out there and we get in. We're like, what a perfect night. And you had your baby monitor. And I swear, I don't even think you were like up to here in the tub before you're like, well, I got to go do something about that. She was like wrapping up in a blanket weird or something. I was like, man, it seems like it's tough.
Yeah, you got to pay attention to them. It turns out.
It's yeah, big time. It's weird. It's like most of the time it's like it's not that it's like hard. Like it's not like when things are difficult a lot. It's just that there's this extra like sometimes it's 30%, sometimes it's like 15% of attention that you always need to have. That kind of like
24/7?
Never disappear. Yeah, well, it's definitely 24/7 at the start, and it's probably up until around then. But like now she's able to like play on her own a bit more. She sleeps through the night. So it changes a bit. So like now we've got like sections off, but then we kind of have to be on a bit more when she's awake or whatever. But yeah, it's weird. You definitely like I definitely feel like any of the hours that I had to waste are gone. But I also like don't necessarily miss those hours. Like I'm probably more efficient when it comes to work and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really fucked up my hot tub game. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Have you monetized that kid yet?
Jesus.
I'm working on it. Working on it. Like I said,
Oh,
just weed sales and doing themselves.
I got to moat to my dogs. I'm monetizing my dogs.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Monetizing
Nice.
pets is huge. You got to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got
You know,
the
you
cats
could
with Twitch
monetize
emotes.
Danny's kid and get an emote of him or her.
Does your kid want to stream Fall Guys with me or something?
Jesus, no, that's why she's monetizing. She has her own Twitch channel and she's been selling keys.
Nice.
Yeah, I saw that last night. That was ridiculous.
Subs, yeah.
Yeah, that whole situation was just absurd. But
Okay, can someone explain to me? All right, I feel bad saying this because obviously I'm in bed with all developers.
Yeah.
But is Fall Guys a ripoff of Gang Beasts or not?
No. I've been playing it a lot.
Yeah.
I actually got my first win last night.
Nice.
It is. I talked about this a lot while I played it. It's got kind of that. There are elements of Gang Beasts, definitely if you just glance at it, like the look of the characters, and it's all very colorful and everything. But it's also got kind of that PUBG thing, but it's a game show also. So it's like 1 versus 100.
Takeshi's Castle?
Yes.
No, it's totally that. It's Takeshi's Castle,
Okay.
MXC, Wipeout, that type of thing. With some PUBG and 1 versus 100. It is. I think Gang Beasts is hilarious and a lot of fun. I think this is way cooler, and them launching with the like PS Plus Rocket League approach.
Yep.
I think this has potential to be a big thing.
I think it's going to be a really big deal. Yeah. I think
it's good. It's really good.
If they start working with other developers too and get like tie-ins, like if you could play Kratos as a skin or something like that, and you have like a dumb Kratos skin with the little Fall Guy face, like if they do that, it's just going to be huge. I think it's going to be a massive game.
Is it just PlayStation right now?
No, it's PC as well.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
It's free on PS Plus, so I think there's going to be a huge user base there, which is important for a game like this.
Yeah.
And
is it fun local? Can you do like any local stuff?
I don't think it's so
really.
dependent on having a ton of people.
Yeah,
you know?
it's 60 person game essentially at the start. So I guess if you have 60 people at like a LAN, then yeah, maybe you could do it local. But they don't have private lobbies yet. I think that's supposed to launch on Tuesday or soon when it comes out. I'm not 100% certain. But yeah, the game's really good. Well, I put like 12 hours into it since Friday.
Oh wow!
You get a win?
Yeah, I think I have like 4 or 5.
Nice.
I get a bunch of, well, not a bunch. I get a handful of stream snipers, and so if I'm like close to the win, I'll get a viewer that just comes up and grabs me, and then another viewer will jump by, or I'll just get a viewer who's really good, who always gets first, and I'll get second, and it's frustrating.
Sorry, I'm laughing because earlier when you said stream snipers, for a while I thought you said strange diapers. I was like, what game are you playing?
That was me. Sorry.
You know,
that's right. That's Danny.
Streaming's tough. If you take a break, Dan, for some of these long channels, you can't. So sometimes you'll get a strange diaper. You know,
I get it. I haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah. You'll, once you start putting in the hours,
Padawan.
Yeah.
You're so green.
Yeah.
Strange diapers. I like it.
It's my PSN name.
Dude, all I've been playing on PlayStations in the past few weeks, I got a PS2 set up on this TV, and I've just been diving into old PS1 and PS2 games.
Yeah.
Do either of you guys remember Devil Dice?
Yeah. I didn't play a lot of it. I rented it once. It's PS1. Right?
I don't remember Devil Dice.
The one with little pixie walking. It was like a puzzle game with like dice, and you had to match like 5 of the sides with 5 on it would make the dice disappear. Dude, I fucking got so addicted to that last night. I've been playing so much Devil Dice. And my wife is like, what's she playing? She's playing she's playing some really good like strategy game. We play a lot of Age of Empires Definitive Edition.
Oh yeah.
Age of Empires 2 has been like our quarantine game. We just land that all the time.
Nice.
She's playing some other strategy game, and she's like watching me playing this fucking devil game for like and it's the most like intense like Puyo Puyo graphics shit. This little pixie jumping around and fucking things blowing up, and she's like, "What the fuck are you playing?" Like, don't talk to me. This is so intense.
I
have no idea.
Devil Dice.
I've been going back to Metroid Prime. I'm almost done with that. I've been doing a playthrough on stream, and it's fun to go back to.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't.
I see people in the chat saying they tried to pick it up, but the controls are too weird. And
They're
I
a
can
little
see
weird.
if you're trying it for the first time now.
Yeah.
Metroid Prime is such a weird game with like the lock on and the first person stuff. But like I think I still have that muscle memory from like last time I played it, which was when it came out, and it just feels great. Honestly, the platforming is still pretty good. Like there's parts that are kind of a pain in the ass, but overall it's aged very well.
Where do you sit in the hot Twitter debate if Brie Larson rather should play the new Metroid or play a Metroid? Or not, sorry, play Samus in the new Metroid movie if they make one. I guess that's the
I
debate.
can see that.
Yeah.
I could see that. And she's like a Nintendo fan, right? I've seen her talk about Switch and Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
And
Funny enough,
I can see that working.
That actually came from Brie was on Gary Whitta's
Gary
show.
Whitta's.
Yeah, Animal Talking.
Oh, right.
And Gary asked her about that, and she said, "Oh yeah, I'd love to play that." And then the internet just like IGN, like Gary was making news waves on like IGN and everything Nintendo and like all these huge Nintendo websites because of what Brie fucking Larson said.
And she started her own like YouTube channel and is like getting into like gaming stuff, and God, everything's so weird. Like the Gary Whitta's Animal Crossing thing is just like I don't understand the internet, because like what happens is when you get older and the internet evolves, right, is that like young people come up with these weird things, right? Like TikTok took me like fucking months to figure out, right? But like this is from Gary, who's like 10 years older than me. And he's doing something. It's so I bet you love it because you're a big fan of like that chat show stuff, right? Like
late night thing with like a band and everything, and like it's such a smart thing. Honestly, he's done great work with that.
Yeah, it was funny. Gary started streaming on Twitch, and we have a mutual friend who I think is like his green room manager, some absurd title for a show about Animal Crossing and talk shows. Named Kate Stark, and she.
Oh yeah, Kate's great.
Yeah. So we knew each other.
Kicks ass in PUBG.
Yeah, she's a great PUBG player. So we knew each other, and I just joined Gary's channel, and he I don't know what he was playing, or he might have just been talking. This is early days of his channel. And she introduced me as just like another streamer. Then he clicked on my channel. It's like, oh, you're like fucking big deal, blah blah blah. And it's like, no, dude, I'm just a normal guy. Cut to like 3 or 4 months later. He's got like 16,000 viewers with like Danny Trejo, and Elijah Wood on an Animal Talking show. I'm just like, what the fuck happened here?
So strange.
He just blew up.
I think it's because he's like unlike anyone who works in games, really, he like legitimately has fingers in Hollywood. Like he's written screenplays for, Book of Eli. Like he's done
Rogue One, right?
with he did Rogue One. Like he's been in the room with Denzel and working on stuff. Like his, he has managers and people in Hollywood, so he has access to these folks.
Yeah.
And like especially when like COVID started and like all talk shows stopped, like suddenly all these people had all this like, they'd no outlet to be out there, I guess. And, all celebrities are narcissistic, so they needed somewhere to go.
You gotta
and Gary was like, yo, start playing Animal Crossing and I'll invite you to my island. It's so strange.
Yeah, it's an absurd thing. He's got a lot of he's got some insane guests lined up.
It's
for
crazy.
season 2 that he hasn't announced yet. We go back and forth on Twitter DMs a lot, because he'll just be like, I got this person coming up. It's like, great, Gary. Thanks. Appreciate that. He's a good guy though. He's a lot of fun to talk with. And his show is blown up, rightfully so. It is one of the smartest ideas I've seen in a very long time, for sure.
It's so clever.
Yeah.
I can't imagine the pre-production on it. Could you imagine trying to wrangle all those people and like teach them how to get in your like
it's enough to like do something like Zoom or something that is meant for that. Animal Crossing, try inviting a bunch of people to your island and see how much fun you have with, oh my God, anytime I don't know if you got the turnip game too deep, but anytime you're like, I had a period where like every week I was going on, I was DMing people by searching like turnip codes and stuff like that and trying to get to their islands. And if it's publicly available, you're spending that entire time watching this person's coming to the island.
Yeah.
Yeah, huge pain in the ass.
He said one of the things I did take away from the show that he actually applauded. Most of the celebs will just turn their Switch off because they're not actual Animal Crossing players. They won't like leave the island. But when they had Brie on like 2 weeks ago or a week ago, she like legitimately left the island to go back home to her island to continue playing. And they all were just like, oh, this is great. Good job, Brie. Like, I think he was interviewing like Dr. Lupo, who's another streamer. And it just like in the middle of it, Brie was just leaving the island. So it cut away from the show and like shows her leaving and okay, everyone wave bye to Bree. We'll see you later.
Waving, yeah.
Yeah. Have a good time. We'll see you soon. So he just kind of rolls with it.
It's so wholesome.
I just wonder like how Nintendo has to know about that by now, right? Like there's no way they don't.
Yeah, they definitely know.
It like at one point does Nintendo reach out to say like, hey, fucking stop it. Like or do they even care? I don't know. I don't know where Nintendo
They're so
sits on that.
unpredictable and weird, and they always have been. Like it's so hard to predict them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even like his logo is, I mean, it's parody, so it should be fine. But like,
it's Nintendo.
They've totally like they've stopped. They have put the the hammer down on people posting gameplay on YouTube for years. They've been weird about Twitch streams on a bunch of titles. like it's
the Evo stuff. Yeah, when they like didn't want their stuff at Evo, they didn't want Mario Kart 8 footage on YouTube, which was insane.
Jesus.
Yeah. I remember it was around the time of the GameCube. Was it Iwata or someone from Nintendo like confidently said like, no, we've looked into it and customers are not interested in playing video games online. Like this is like 2004, 2005, where everyone's like, can you imagine playing games online?
We're gonna put this controller on my finger.
I remember that dumb thing.
Danny, you gotta quit doing this. You gotta quit doing this.
It's a bannable
You're on the
offense.
internet.
Dan knows all the Twitch toss rules as an influencer. You gotta be careful.
Video game.
There we go. There's your GIF.
Yeah, that's the thumbnail for the episode. Yeah, Nintendo's weird. I think a lot of executives will just say random shit like that, and then everyone just laughs at them. Nintendo's done a fairly good job.
Like 7 years later.
Yeah. Blizzard's done a lot of great quotes more recently than like Activision as well. Phil Spencer's out there making a lot of great claims, but seems to be hitting them all, I guess, more recently with like the Game Pass stuff and PC. But it's weird. It's a weird thing.
All I want is Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. That's all I want right now.
Hey, I'm not under NDA like that. One of our friends, Rami, is right now. That game's pretty good.
Shit, you played it, you bastard.
Yeah,
you got access
for like 2 weeks. It's pretty good.
Wow.
Yeah.
What did you like it? Where'd you fly? Did you find your house? Did you do all that stuff?
Yeah, I flew into my house.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's the first thing I did. The game's. We were talking about it yesterday with another streamer, and they were like, "So what do we like? Is that game going to be streamable? Like, what are there goals?"
Oh yeah.
And it's like, do you have like missions? And it's like, no, you just kind of fly wherever you want to. And it's all real time for most of the time. So it's like,
really?
Oh.
Yeah, I took a flight from like, I plotted the flight because you can like pull up the world map and choose where you want to start. Literally, they have 18,000 airports or some absurd fucking number. Like every airport in the known world. Because the game world is the world. Like
it's the world.
It's a real world. Like
so. Could you fly? Could you start in like Connecticut and then fly like around the world, or does it factor in like
it has fuel
and stuff?
I think you would have to land and get more fuel. Could you do the Air Force One thing? The Air Force One thing where they have another like fuel plane next to it, and you
I don't think you're in an F-16 or anything.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't know how that would work because I
maybe not a Cessna.
I plotted a course from like some random airport in Siberia to Tokyo, and it was like, this is gonna take 14 hours, good luck. And it's 14 hours of real time.
Well, JP, you're in Missouri. Are you familiar with the MCI, the crappy Kansas City airport?
No, I've not heard of MCI.
Oh, it's a terrible airport. That's the main Kansas City airport that I always flew out of growing up.
Is it on the Kansas side?
It's on the. Anytime anybody says Kansas City, unless they're talking about that new racetrack, it's like 10 years old now. It's all on the Missouri side. The Skyline, the Royals, the Chiefs, everything's in Missouri.
Yeah, I'm a fairly new transplant to the St. Louis. I've only been here 2 years. This is where my fiance is from. I grew up in Texas and San Antonio for 30 years.
Oh, okay.
So
gotcha.
More familiar with Texas in general, but yeah.
Whataburger.
Whataburger in the Alamo. That's how you grew up.
Yeah.
Whataburger is incredible.
Whataburger's best fast food place.
South.
Love it. Oh, Pac South, yes.
I love Pac South. Pac
South is pretty good. It's super chill, or it was super chill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so chill. Yeah, and everyone who's there is like so happy that it's on because at least the early years when I went, because it was just like, oh, finally, there's like one of these is close by.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the Midwest.
It was also great because not very many people were there. It wasn't like PAX East where it's just wall to wall type situation. Yeah. So it was
Remember
good.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had
I miss coughing on people.
we had an electrician at our house 2 months ago, or maybe a month ago, like an emergency electrician. Our breaker kept blowing, and he fixed the problem, whatever. And he was leaving, and I like put my hand out to shake his hand because he's a really nice guy, and he shook my hand, and then we kind of had this awkward like, oh fuck, like we just shook hands type situation. And so I'm sorry, man. I apologize. He's like, don't worry about it. I understand. Like I've got some hand sanitizer in the car. We'll be fine. But like, that was probably the last time I had some sense of human stranger interaction, was just an awkward handshake. Yeah. It's weird.
I saw they're doing a park here in Connecticut is doing like big inflatable screen, come watch a movie and lay in the grass things with like, they paint the circles on the grass that you can lay in. I actually thought that'd be fun to do last night, but then I saw they were playing Hobbs and Shaw and that movie was disappointing.
Never saw that.
I love the Fast and Furious movies, and Hobbs and Shaw seemed like exactly my type of thing.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. It was not that good.
Is there only one of those of like the Hobbs and Shaw? Okay. Yeah. I don't think I
so far.
Yeah.
I don't know if did it do well? I know people.
It's got The Rock in it, so it would have had to have done well, right? Like,
it was marketed so hard.
Let's see.
Yeah.
How?
I'm gonna look it up.
Oh, you're looking
Fast
up
9. I got pushed to next year. I know, which that looks amazing.
Yeah, their game. Either their game's available for pre-order or it's out, or something. I
haven't seen anything about that game. I'm curious about it.
I saw
what game? Is it Fast and Furious game?
Yeah.
Apparently,
Wario 64 was tweeting about it like 2 or 3 days ago. I don't know if it's out.
Okay, here we go. Hobbs and Shaw, $200 million budget, box office $760 million. There will be a Hobbs and Shaw 2.
Well, fuck me, I guess. I guess it did fine.
Trying to find this Fast and Furious tweet from Wario 64. He fucking tweets so often.
That franchise has made so much.
Well, they've also, what is that, like the 10th movie in that world and that thing? Franchise,
cinematic universe.
Yeah.
Would have been the 9th one, yeah.
Yeah. Tokyo Drift's still the best one for my interest.
Tokyo Drift? Yeah, that one's awesome.
Yeah. I've only seen the more recent ones, I guess, once, and they kind of just turned into like the A-Team movies, essentially.
Yeah, I think Fast 5 was kind of the apex of the series.
Was that the last one with Paul Walker, or which one was that?
No, 7 was the last one with Paul Walker. 5 is the first one with The Rock.
Oh,
where he's the bad guy?
Yeah. That's my favorite one. That one's incredible.
I remember that. Yeah.
6 is really good too.
It's been a while. I need to watch all those. Maybe. I know that's a big commitment. What
you gotta wait for the box set.
They probably have one of those, right?
Oh, they have numerous.
Yeah, they probably have one every year. You gotta wait for the final one.
I've got one right here.
Yeah, I did that for the Marvel movies where they put like all of the Infinity Saga into a box set. Although I already own, I'm a stupid Marvel fan. But I already owned like every single 4K movie, and I bought the full box set.
Ooh.
And it was like $580 or some shit. It was just a waste of money. Like,
is Spider-Verse part of that? Because I don't know a whole lot about the MCU, but I love
Spider-Man is a part of that, but Spider-Verse is not a part of that.
Okay, Spider-Verse is the one I love.
So
that
was
great.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, they're working on a second one of those, I think.
Yeah.
Ooh, really?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the game as well. The Miles Morales one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The PS5 one.
Yeah. That first one was so good. I also
a launch title. I think it is.
Yeah, but it's weird because like they did that PlayStation event, and then everyone thought it was like a full game, and then the next day they came out and said, "Oh no, this is an add-on experience." And then like 2 hours later, Insomniac was saying like, "No, this is a bigger experience, like Uncharted Lost Legacy, but it's not a full game." And so I think I don't know.
It shocked me because, like, especially a company that big with a game that was such a huge hit and such a huge license as Spider-Man, big companies typically have all of their messaging like extremely figured out before something is announced.
Yeah.
And like it didn't leak, so they didn't have to scramble. You know, it came out during the thing, and like all of the messaging was all over the place to the point where I think everyone is still super confused. Like, I don't know how they blew it that hard.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
I'm still looking forward
right.
to playing it, whatever it is.
I think a lot of that Sony thing, I think a lot of Sony in general, they try to not necessarily like mislead their audience, but they let the audience do the work for themselves rather than just say outright what things are.
Yeah.
Which is not the way to go a lot of times.
I think they landed on it being like a Uncharted Lost Legacy type thing.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
a smaller scale, smaller cost type thing, which that's great. Lost Legacy was awesome.
It was awesome. That was
Yeah,
one of the
so
better.
I would totally be up for that.
Yeah, Lost Legacy was great.
Yeah, I wonder if it was one of those situations where you have like the marketing department has one thing, but perhaps like maybe they didn't know what the price of it was going to be, so nobody felt confident saying, because there was all that next gen price stuff in the air. So what is a 3/4 length AAA product look like when maybe we're eyeballing $70? It felt like one of those moments where like all the different balls or plates that were spinning weren't quite aligned for them to kind of say it, and they were hoping that maybe the question wasn't asked. And a little bit of like maybe filler reporting kind of, which doesn't help it when sometimes outlets make the wrong assumption and then they have to counter it. But yeah, they should have. It's a shame that it kind of like spoiled it. But it's cool that they're doing it. I think it's crazy they're able to turn around something like that. I'm of the opinion that a lot of these games are too overly wrought anyway. Last of Us 2 was very long in my mind. Could have been a little bit shorter, but Spider-Man, that game was so much fun. I think it's a good showpiece as well technologically for 5. It feels like a decent fit. It's like almost like a throwback launch title because it's like a movie license game, but we don't have that many of those anymore. Except for that, the Marvel one, I guess, is the other one, which is coming out some stage. Is that this year?
That's later this month, actually.
Is it really?
Yeah,
wow.
beta is next or this upcoming Friday, the 7th, I think, is PlayStation 4 beta. I also think it was either leaked or rumored that the PS4 version of that is going to be the only platform where you can play Spider-Man as part of the Avengers. And so if that's real, like that's a pretty big deal, I think. For
why would that be
I guess
is he a big part of like the Avengers movies? Is he in the like Infinity War or whatever stuff?
Yeah, he's a part of the Infinity War stuff for sure. Spider-Man, I think in general is probably like the biggest Marvel hero apart from Iron Man.
Right.
But yeah, if that's actually like a real thing, I could totally see just by proxy that Avengers game blowing up because of that.
How have they not announced that yet if it's coming out this month?
I don't know. It might be
crazy.
They've been running like
could be
DLC.
Reddit bullshit.
Yeah, it also could just be complete bullshit. There's been a lot of that. I mean, I feel like every week, like Monday starts and someone's like, "Oh, we got a Nintendo Direct tomorrow and a PlayStation pre-order announcement later this week."
Yeah, has E3 stopped yet?
Yeah, no. Well, I think so.
I'm still waiting on Nintendo. I still want Nintendo to do something.
Yeah, they got to do something, right? Like, I think there's a Twitter account that constantly tweets out it's been like X days since Zelda was announced. Zelda 2 was announced. I think it's been 420 or 425 days since that game was announced.
I would guess that one for holiday next year, and then maybe Metroid Prime 4 after that.
So what comes out this year then? What's the holiday Nintendo thing?
I have been crossing my fingers for that Mario thing since those rumors came out. Those the remaster stuff.
Oh, right.
I want that to be the big holiday thing this year. Like I would love. I was playing Mario 64 last night. I would love to play remasters of 64 Sunshine, both Galaxies, 3D World, all that stuff. Like I would on Switch. That's all I want.
Where'd you come down on the Paper Mario one?
I started it. It's really funny. The writing is great. Again, it's the combat. The combat is better than Sticker Star and Color Splash because it's not the like one-time use items and stuff like that. But it's still like you don't get XP. You're not leveling up. So it's like every time I'm walking through an area and there's a bunch of like encounters, why do I want to do any of them?
Avoiding them? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a pain in the ass. And so
I am one of those folks who kind of is a little bit more of the 1,000-Year Door Paper Mario fan. Like I wish it was a bit more.
I all that on stream for the first time, and that game holds up really well. It's great. That's the best one for sure.
But GameCube games just look great too. Like those GameCube Mario games, like any of those, like just like still look gorgeous.
Some would say that Mario Sunshine's a masterpiece.
I knew you were going there. I just want to play Galaxy. My biggest thing is I think Galaxy was the best Mario, even better than like 64. I would love to play like an HD Galaxy.
Yes,
like
without
10
any like it never went too hard on the motion stuff originally, but I would love to have one that just doesn't really mess with it at all. I know they
Yeah.
could with the Joy-Con stuff, but give us an option. If you're going to remaster it, give the option to just play with a Pro controller, which
Yeah.
I know you can do motion there, but don't.
Yeah, 1080p 60, no motion nonsense. Those games would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
I still can't believe that they made a second one of those. Like there's this,
And
It's really
better.
good.
yeah,
Yeah, it's better.
I think it's better.
those are
Yeah.
really good games for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know.
No
what they're
Gianna
doing,
sisters though.
What are you a big Gianna sister? Is this a meme, Danny?
So yeah, what's your experience with Gianna sisters? The new ones that came out on like Steam and DS and stuff, or
Is Gianna sisters the one with the blue ponytail hair or no? That's
Yeah,
Shantae. You're thinking of
Shantae.
Shantae.
Yeah, I don't know what the Gianna
Yeah.
sisters is then.
Gianna sisters, they have since come out as a sort of a legitimate 2D platforming experience. But
Okay.
the Great Gianna sisters originally was basically on the Commodore Amiga. A lot of like, it was kind of like a alternative to Sega and Nintendo stuff, right? Like it was pretty big in Europe, especially. That we had a bunch of characters and games that you didn't get on those consoles, but also a lot of those games didn't cross over either. So obviously Mario, there was no Mario game. So the Great Gianna sisters is basically a rip-off of Mario, but instead of two Italian brothers, it's two Italian sisters. And the levels are like very similar. Like 1-1 is like kind of looks like
Identical.
that, and like 1-2 is underground. Except like instead of fighting like Bowser Jr., you fight like an ant, like a really big ant. And the music is like janky, and it's like you should watch videos of Great Gianna sisters. It's just the weirdest like early 90s bullshit. But everyone on the Amiga had a copy of Great Gianna sisters because you could just copy games on the console. The console let you copy discs, so you just copy everyone's games. So everyone just copied everyone's games.
Oh,
It seems like an oversight.
yeah. It's like a
Yeah,
Dreamcast.
maybe it's why Commodore's not around anymore.
Hey, it works.
Probably
with
has something to
Dreamcast.
do with it.
Yeah.
I got my Amiga up on the wall right there.
Nice.
It's always
yeah.
watching over me.
There you go. Yeah, the Dreamcast was the
But I
same
don't-
thing for me. You just copied all the games. Like,
I never heard that until years later. And like I bought a Dreamcast at launch. I loved my Dreamcast, but then like I never knew that you could just like burn the games. I would have probably done that a lot in high school.
that's exactly what I did in high school. I was in
Yeah.
middle school at the time, and there was a kid who was like, "Hey man, you want some dream?" It was like a drug deal, but for games. He's like, "Hey man, you want some games?" And he would like, he'd hand me like 2 CDs, like that's got Power Stone.
You want some
Yeah.
You want some Shenmue?
Yeah, it was
I got
like
some
Power
Shenmue.
Stone and Shinmu or some shit like that. And I was like, this just works. Like you just put how'd you burn those? And so you have to have a dual layer DVD disc or something like that, and you just burn it. Like you don't have to do
Crazy.
anything else. So that's what I did for a lot of like middle school, was became a peddler of Dreamcast games. And
That's awesome.
I bought a lot of PC hardware. through
Love it.
those,
Just
through
out,
those
out-
means.
at the back of the high school smoking some Jet Set Radio.
Yeah. Yeah. Jet Set Radio was a big one. Soul Calibur obviously was a big one. Probably like arguably the best Dreamcast game.
Yeah.
Power Stone.
10 out of 10 on GameSpot.
Was it?
AGM. I remember the review crew gave Soul Calibur straight 10s. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell of a game.
I think it's the
Big one.
best fighting game ever.
The thing I didn't like about
My-
the Dreamcast though was the controllers were really hard to break, which is maybe a good thing now that I'm older, but like me and my brother would get very angry at each other over Soul Calibur, that we would like throw controllers or
No,
It-
with your
alternatively-
VMU. You gotta protect the VMU at all costs.
they were bulky as hell. Alternatively, N64 controllers were like so easily breakable. Because
Yeah.
the like 3 prongs, you could just slam it on its side and it would fucking shatter.
Oh,
don't-
really?
Yeah.
I know it's such a thing to like breaking a controller. I've never thrown a controller. I've never broken a controller.
I definitely
I
did
was
as a
never one that
kid.
got like angry playing a game, even as a kid. But I do remember one time I was playing Soul Calibur in high school, and I had a broken collarbone, and so I was in a sling, and so I was kind of like playing like this, and my friend Charlie was sitting over here, and I was just being a total dickhead. Like if anyone's ever seen me play Soul Calibur on stream or anything, or against someone,
Did not-
I'm really a heel about it. And so I was just being
Poor A
such a
Strike.
dick in his ass. And then he didn't think about it, but he just turned to hit me, and he hit me in the broken collarbone. and he instantly was like, "Oh shit!" and it hurt like hell. And I remember thinking, like, once I recovered, I was like, I need to get him back. And so I just calmly like went down to the garage in my sling, and I found like a metal bucket with some like sponges and stuff in it. And I just dumped them out. And I grabbed the metal bucket. I just went back into my room and just threw it at his head. And it was like, gong.
What the hell?
Wow.
Just
And
dinged
he's
him right
dead
there.
now.
Yeah. That he was no longer your friend after
No,
that.
he died.
Yeah.
Oh, he's great. Hey, Charlie.
My
Jesus.
my favorite Dreamcast story is the Quake 3.
Oh God.
There was a version of Dreamcast on Quake 3, right? Yeah. But a bunch of PC players figured out a way to break into the dedicated Dreamcast servers.
Oh wow.
So you basically had a bunch of mouse and keyboard folks, or like jumping into these levels. And I think the Dreamcast had like a 15 character limit for your name when you were playing. But the PC one, you could like add hex values and like change the colors and just have them be like really
Carrot
long.
6.
So it basically ruined. Yeah, totally. Yeah. So it basically ruined all of like Dreamcast online community because you just had these mouse and keyboard players coming in and destroying everyone with these really long names.
I never.
Which I thought was quite funny.
So you were big into Quake then, I guess. That was Quake 3 like your thing? Okay.
Oh, Quake 3 is like the best game ever made. It's like right up there. It's
that's
like
where I
Half-Life
cut my
2.
teeth. It was StarCraft, Quake 3, and then like WoW, but then I went back to Quake 3 after that.
Quake 3 is a game I can just boot up at any stage and it just feels like putting on an old shoe.
Totally.
Is that a phrase we use? Probably not. But
glove.
It
I think
feels
you
like,
put on an old glove.
like riding by. Yeah, you know the way old shoes always fit you forever. That's why we never get new shoes.
Yeah,
that's where that's saying.
It's like one of those. Yeah,
you get one shoe as a kid.
It's
and you
just
grow
great.
into it. Yeah,
just wear. Yeah, it's your. Yeah, exactly. It's like that here too. Oh, I thought that was just an Irish thing. Cool.
I was so jealous because I never had like a gaming PC. So that's the one huge like kind of blind spot I always had was PC gaming. And especially in the early days of the internet, you started seeing commercials for games. And I distinctly remember seeing a commercial for Zoop. And it said, "Hey, play a free demo now." Zoop is like a shitty 16-bit. It was on Super Nintendo and Genesis, a pretty bad puzzle game. And but I was like, "Oh, I want to try that. I love puzzle games." And it said www.zoop.com for a free demo. And we didn't have the internet. We had no internet service. We probably wouldn't have it for another year. But I remember thinking like, well, we've got a computer. I can figure this out. I'm going to figure out how to go to zoop.com on our Packard Bell. And yeah, there it is. There's Zoop. And I went into DOS and I kept trying to figure out how to get to the internet from DOS. So I would type like c://zoop.com.
Internet.
And oh yeah, there we go. There it is. There's some Zoop.
Oh yeah.
Huh.
Wow, look at that. What the fuck
it's not
is
great.
this?
Not great at all. But yeah, it's always so jealous anytime like free demos and stuff like that or any PC games. I would look like screenshots and magazines of like Kingpin. And it's like, oh man, that looks so good.
Oh my god.
I can never
Kingpin
play.
Life of Crime. What a game.
I
Quake,
didn't play
Quake
Kingpin
Engine
at all.
Classic.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Kingpin was like, you could put the CD in your CD player and it would just play the 4 Cypress Hill tracks that were licensed for the game.
Okay.
So Kingpin was a game. It was a first-person shooter, story, linear, all that sort of stuff. Classic late 90s FPS. But it had this like conversation like mechanic where you could basically say something positive or negative to someone. It was like it took place in like Skid Row and like this weird like it was supposed to be contemporary, but it felt really otherworldly, sort of like gangland area like world. But you could go up to people and say something nice to them. Or not. It was like X and Y or something you'd say. And like if you said something, you'd be like, "Hey, what's up?" Or if you'd say something negative, you'd say like, "I'm gonna fucking bury you." Like it was really on the other ends of the spectrum.
Yeah. It seemed like so many PC games were pushing so many things forward, and I wanted to try because I remember the one gaming magazine I wouldn't subscribe to was Next Gen. Like I subscribed to GI, EGM, EGM2, Tips and Tricks, Insight, like Game Pro, all that stuff. But Next Gen always just made me mad because they would have the cover. It's like, this is an actual screenshot on your sweet gaming PC. And it's like, no, I can't see that.
That was the classic Unreal Tournament 99 Game Pro was it cover where they said, this is an actual screenshot. And you can go Google it now and it's just like this fucking polygonal, scarred. Yeah, it looks awful. But
I still don't think I've ever played Quake.
Really?
The first one?
I don't think I've ever touched Quake, no.
Any of them or?
I think by the time I was like reviewing, I started reviewing in 05, so I think there was some like 360, like there
Quake
were some like
4.
Unreal and Quake games that I played, but I don't know if that was like the heyday, you know?
Yeah, Quake throughs. That's where I like started landing. That's where I started going to like QuakeCon because it was in Mesquite, Texas. Like, or at least back then it was. And then they went to the Gaylord Hotel, one of the best hotels of all time. There in Grapevine. But yeah,
they're doing it online this week. Is it QuakeCon?
Wait, really?
Online? Yeah, they're doing an online QuakeCon. I think it's this week or next week or something.
Huh.
Yeah, they're doing talks and all that sort of stuff and competitions. And
the best thing to come out of QuakeCon was the energy drink balls. Have you guys ever had balls? It's like it's generally the best energy drink still to this day. But it's hard to find. They used to
BAWL?
BAWLS, yeah.
Right.
It was great. They were like slightly carbonated, and I think they're like the big ingredient was guarana or some shit.
Guarana,
yeah.
Are they still around?
I don't know. You might be able to get it online. They used to sell it at like they had a store called CompUSA in San Antonio, and you could buy.
Yeah, they had that in Kansas City.
Yeah, so that was the only store that carried it. Yep, that's the logo.
Nice.
They have it in can form now. You want the textured glass bottle, the blue textured glass bottle. It's the best one.
For your pleasure.
It was good. I would go to QuakeCon and down like a 12-pack of that over a 48-hour period.
That was Grapevine?
The one that so it started on Mesquite at a hotel there. Then it actually got so big that they went to another hotel, the Gaylord Hotel, which was the first year it was there. I think it was like the grand opening of the Gaylord Hotel, which is just this massive like resort in between Fort Worth and Dallas.
Can I read this history section from Wikipedia?
Of what? Of balls?
Of balls, yeah.
Do it. Let's hear it.
In the summer of 1998, which I think we can all remember, a website dedicated to PC games posted a positive review of the drink, sparking interest in Boopert's product with gamers. To capitalize on this, Boopert's company began sponsoring LAN parties. Balls Guarana also became the beverage sponsor of the Cyber Athletes Professional League. Cool.
Yep.
In 2002, CompUSA started to carry Balls Guarana in its retail stores. To further attract video game players, Boopert struck an agreement with Interplay to feature Balls Guarana in-game as product placement in 2002's Run Like Hell, as well as 2004's Fallout Brotherhood of Steel.
Nice.
Wait, really? It's in Brotherhood? Wow.
It's in Brotherhood of Steel. Yeah.
I had no idea.
The sort of spin-off action kind of Fallout one. I think it was on 360, that one.
Did Bethesda own id in 2002? Is that where that
No, and also Bethesda didn't own Fallout in 2002. They were still owned by Interplay back then.
Oh, that was Interplay. Right. Okay.
Yeah. That was when the all those cancelled games happened in that period before they kind of came in and rejuvenated the Fallout.
Sense. Yeah. The Gaylord Hotel was great. I want to talk about the Gaylord Hotel. I just want to show you guys the atrium. Let me do it. So they have multiple Gaylords across the country. There's one in Nashville. There's one in Florida. There's one in Dallas. I don't know where the other one is. This is where like all the rooms are in the Grand Atrium.
Oh my God.
So it's like and this is only one like little segment of it.
It's like a Disneyland hotel.
Yeah. Vegas casino.
Yeah, it's it has its own multiple streets. They have a man-made lake attached to it. Let me see.
It's like a little San Antonio Riverwalk thing going on.
Yeah, it's a little bit. Yeah.
It's
like the Venetian.
It's got its own water park.
San Antonio.
Oh, nice.
Outside. Let me see.
I'm surprised I never went to.
So this is like the main thing. That's like the main. It's crazy.
Yikes!
For like 8 years. I'm surprised I never made it down. That's where their headquarters is. And,
do you guys? Is there like hurricanes there? Because that ceiling is terrifying me.
This is like north central Texas, so Houston's about 3.5, 4 hours.
Okay.
From this probably. So
where is it? Is this up near Dallas?
Yeah. It's in Grapevine, which is a little bit like if Dallas is here, Fort Worth is here, Grapevine's like right here. It's like very, very close, like 10 minutes from either city. But when it rains, it was nice because you like it's open air.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice. That'd be great.
Yeah, it was kind of cool.
It's good.
They had a snake pit very Texas thing. They had a snake pit at the bottom of this that you could go and visit, and every day they would like feed the
Jeez.
snakes.
Did you just throw a couple of mice in, or?
Yeah, I guess.
That's awesome.
I never went. The best / worst part of this, the first year, they didn't know that they were getting a bunch of like gamers
Snakes?
and like no the like the QuakeCon folk were coming
Oh
to
right,
the
yeah.
Gaylord. So
Everyone suddenly like 400 people with CRTs rock up.
yeah,
What the fuck?
The big story after that first year was one of the like public restrooms on the first floor in between the atrium and the convention center area. Someone just like took the urinals and literally pulled them off the wall and like destroyed the bathroom.
Oh my god.
And no one knows why. Like there was a lot of alcohol and I'm sure a lot of other indecent things going on at nighttime.
Wow.
So I'm sure that had something to do with it. But yeah,
that's why you need
almost
Dr.
didn't get-
Disrespect streaming in your bathrooms
It's
at
true.
all times. Because
Yeah.
then you would have found out who did it.
It's true. He's in there making sure no one's doing wrong for sure.
Yeah, he's doing. Yeah.
I remember first WrestleMania I went to was in New Orleans for WrestleMania 30, and because any WrestleMania it's just like 100,000 wrestling fans descending on a city.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting at a hotel bar, and there's this couple that were just like sitting there, and they were like looking around because everyone is just—it's a bunch of guys in wrestling shirts chanting yes, and then like this couple like turned to me and they were like, "What is going on in this city?" It's like, oh, it's WrestleMania weekend. They're like, oh, we're here for our wedding weekend. And like they didn't realize it was the same weekend as WrestleMania. So all of Bourbon Street and everything was just all these people yes chanting and everything. It was great.
That's a good. Hey, if you're gonna have a weird crowd, that's a good weird crowd to have.
It's true.
They're like
Yeah.
super
It's
happy.
true.
Great crowd, yeah.
That hotel was so big that they could actually fit multiple conventions in the same weekend. I remember there was one year where it was QuakeCon, and then it was like the Occult Society of America or some shit.
Oh, geez.
That actually totally, I couldn't tell the difference.
At nighttime, you had like a bunch of these fucking gamer people, like just super hyped up on a shit ton of caffeine, and then like these balls essentially, and
Balls
then these like super weird occult people with like their mystic like little balls, the electricity thing where they would walk around with that. They were like, "I'll tell you your fortune."
They're like Tesla coils.
Yeah, and it was a weird thing. That was a really weird event. Yeah.
There was a Mcm Expo, which is like the London Comic Con, basically. It was on at the I think it's the MCM's the name of the place. But the convention center is like 8 halls long or something. It was like 4 on one side, 4 on the other side.
Yeah.
And so it was 4 on one side that were all MCM. And then on the other side, it was London's Next Top Model. So you just had like teenage girls, half of them dressed up as like Tifa and like, you know, the cosplayers. And then the other side were all dressed up as like models. And they were both looking at each other like, what are you wearing? Just like different universes crossing each other. It was pretty cool.
It's a great crossover conference.
It's
pretty good one. Yeah, I think the QuakeCon / Occult Society of America was the oddest one that they ever had. There was definitely weddings.
John Romero would work in both though.
True. There's a lot of crossover there. 100%. Yeah. They had weddings all the time. That was always just like Dan said. People just kind of looking around like, why the fuck are all these, like, no one's tipping. All these gamer people just don't pay any.
Oh, yeah.
They don't care about your service. They just want to drink and then they're going to leave. So we always had to deal with that because people are just assholes. But yeah.
I'll be right back. I'm going to pee real quick.
Okay.
Be right back.
Yeah. QuakeCon was a fun time for sure. That's where that's how I got into gaming and IRC and going to LAN events, and then from that, like, met a bunch of the esportsers. Like DJ Wheat was casting 04 versus Fatality at one of those QuakeCons, and he was there. And yeah, that was like 20 fucking years ago.
Thresh's firing squad.
Yeah, Thresh was there
All that.
in some facility. It was a weird time. It was a long time.
Good games.
Yeah, and now games are all just
Good
about
games.
streaming. Now it's all just streaming this, streaming that, doing different events.
Yeah.
Jeff Keighley's everywhere
it's
somehow.
funny. Well, there's like 5 of him. So
Yeah, he's
he is
definitely the
one
first clone
constantly
human.
embedded in Valve. He has one that's constantly working on the Game Awards 12 months a year. God, I wonder what's going to happen with that. Surely that's not happening this year. Must be online or something,
Yeah, it'll probably be an online thing, which is going to be,
like everything else.
it'll be somewhat, I don't know, like, do you even do that? Do you think he just doesn't do that?
I'm sure he'll want to keep it up. I mean, why not? Like he did all the summer Game Fest stuff, right? Like so
He's still doing
that
that.
probably helps to like, get used to a lot of that stuff. But like August is like really big for cons, right? Because August and September, because we usually had PAX in September. Gamescom is obviously really big in Europe.
Yeah.
GDC online is happening, I think, next week or something. So there's quite a lot.
He's doing like what is his Gamescom brand? Like Opening Night Live or something like
that? Yeah, I forget. Is he doing that again this year?
Yeah, that's a thing. So I would assume that's where we're probably going to get more info on like PS5 and Xbox One X stuff, but
we'll see.
Who knows?
Gamescom's an odd one. Yeah. Oh yeah, the price.
Yeah, we got to get price and date because those consoles are still coming out this year. Crazy enough.
Yeah, it's wild.
You got to be November for both, right?
Yeah, I would think Cyberpunk was
Looks
moved
like it.
to that date for a specific reason. Like it's going to be somewhere around there. I think there's a 9-day period, or maybe it's a 7-day period where there's some big game. There's Assassin's Creed, and then 2 days after that, there's Cyberpunk. So there's like a 9-day period where 3 massive games are coming out in November. So probably consoles coming out then.
Yeah, it's when any other later would make any sense. They want to catch Black Friday and Thanksgiving, and that lead up to Christmas. I wonder what the supplies are going to be like, though. I wonder, like, is anyone going to a midnight launch for this thing as well?
Well, you mentioned Black Friday. Is Black Friday even going to be a thing?
Oh yeah, good point. Surely
it probably will still be a thing. And definitely Florida, Middle America. That'll probably be where it's biggest. And then there will be.
Would you risk COVID-19 for a PS5? If that was the only way you could get it. Are you a real gamer?
I'd just get one of those, like, I'd get like a Fallout radiation suit type thing and go into the Walmart or wherever, the Best Buy, and try it that way. Yeah.
Do you remember the guy? This is like pre-YouTube days. That his whole shtick was he had all these different URLs where it's like breakmyps3.com or breakmywii.com or breakmy360.com, and he would wait and be the first guy in line for every console launch, and he would go in and buy it, and he would have someone film him as he went out to everyone waiting in line, and like a lot of them weren't going to get the system, and he would just like take a hammer to it and break it in front of everyone. Like that was the guy's whole gimmick, and it was like, fuck you, dude. Like to spend that much time and effort to just be a dick.
I didn't know.
Yeah,
there was.
I remember this guy. I gotta find out where he is.
Yeah,
do a documentary on him.
I didn't know that was. I remember. Was it Triforce, or there was some like fighting game guy that would always try to be the first in like New York when it came to game releases.
Right, I know what you're talking about. But he wasn't like doing a gimmick thing. And
no, he just wanted
he
it.
just liked. Yeah, he just liked it, right?
Yeah. I didn't know that there was a guy that would get it and just go ahead and fucking break it.
That was during the days of like Chad Warden. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Oh my god, that's ringing such a bell. What was that?
PS Triple, man. It's the PS Triple.
Yeah. PS Triple.
Oh my god, Chad Warden. Yes, I do remember Chad Warden. Oh my god, I haven't thought about this forever.
The influencers before influencers.
Yeah. You didn't know how to monetize.
Yeah, it's all monetization. That's all this whole racket is, for sure. Someone figured it out. They were ahead of their game. Triforce, that was the guy's name. That would
right.
I think he's based out of New York.
And I feel like they would always have like Miyamoto or someone like be I'm selling the first one to this guy.
Yeah.
Or like Reggie.
Yeah, I remember Bill Gates did it for the 360 and maybe the base Xbox as well. Where they like handed that off and then got the fuck out of there as fast as possible.
Yeah, man, those blue PS2 boxes.
Fusion Frenzy.
Yeah. It'll be weird. It's already been a weird year, but seeing those consoles come out in like the age of COVID is going to be absurd. Like, what are they going to do? Have the first Amazon delivery of one, and that's what they're going to go and film. Like,
it's crazy how I think there was some like ridiculous statistic last week where there was like a 30% like year over year on the amount of homes with a console in them. Like there was a huge jump in hardware sales over the past 6 months.
Yeah.
As like kids can't visit their friend's house to play the PlayStation anymore or whatever. Yeah. So they just, and the price is probably at a good sweet spot now as well. You know, we're near the end of the gen. So
yeah.
When COVID first started, I had a lot of people reach out to me that I like work with or know that like typically don't ask me about video game stuff. And then are suddenly asking about like, what do I need to play this Animal Crossing game? Or how do I do this? Like people were just looking for stuff to do inside, basically, even if they weren't into games before.
Yeah.
Especially those first couple of months where you had like, because we did all suddenly have like, you know, there's definitely financial issues, worries with everything that's happening. But like, I remember for the first couple of months, I wasn't going out for lunch anymore. I wasn't like going to the cinema or like going to gigs. Like suddenly I actually had disposable income that I hadn't accounted for. So I think the same was true of some people. I wonder if a lot of people as well bought the other console. I wonder if a lot of like PlayStation owners went, oh, you know, it's about time. I'm playing more games now. I'll get a Switch or I'll get an Xbox or something. Upgrade my PC.
Maybe. We were trying to get a Switch like 2 weeks ago or a week ago. I'm looking over there because my fiance's can't hear me at all, but I'm hoping to draw inspiration from just staring at her. I think it was 2 weeks ago for the kid, because Erin has Animal Crossing, but it's the weird thing where like they can't create their own island on the Switch, and so Erin's like a pretty devout Animal Crossing fan, and like her 11-year-old would get in and be like, I'm gonna tell this person to fuck off and like send them to a different island, and they're no, don't confirm, like please, I really like that person. So we tried to get her own Switch, and it was a nightmare. It was just a pain in the ass to track that down. And everyone on Amazon is like, we wanted the whichever the Switch Lite, I guess is with the brand, the SKU name. We wanted the Switch Lite, and Amazon, they were like price gouging for like $400 was the base of that.
Fuck that.
Because they were so rare. Luckily, Wario64 was like tweeting out the second that they would get some in stock. Saw. And so I was just like watching that. We had like a price alert type setup. And so we were able to get one for the base price, like $200, which I think is the normal price.
That's great.
Yeah.
The light's awesome. It's really good. That's the main one my wife uses, and I use the TV one. But the lights, the form factor is awesome.
Yeah. It worked out great. They're just a nightmare. Like I think in general, most of the hardware stuff has seemed to stabilize somewhat. I know like back in March when everything was initially going crazy, you couldn't get a single thing. Like a monitor. Yeah. A monitor was impossible to. I was trying to get like a 4K monitor, and they were just sold out everywhere, no matter what you tried to do.
Well, like ring fit and webcams.
Yeah. Well, webcams are still impossible to find.
Well, that was so hard because like I never had like a home streaming setup, and I didn't start doing this until COVID. And so all the stuff I've had to build out, I've had to somehow find during COVID. Like I had a mic, I had this webcam. Like I've had the same webcam since the PS4 came out, and I was like, "Wow, I'll try streaming with this." Oh wait, no, that's not true because the PlayStation needed the eye. I bought this for my laptop. Yeah. But yeah, I have this program monitor, and it took me forever to find that. And like the Elgato, took me a long time to find an Elgato, and Best Buy finally got them in stock. So it's been really hard to kind of build this out. So
yeah, are you using a C920? What you said, this old camera? Is it a Logitech camera with a blue ring around it in the center?
Yeah,
that's a C920.
The Logitech special.
Yeah,
920, I think it's an old one. But,
the 920.
I got a second camera up there now too.
Good.
The Logitech C920 is, I think, the most used camera in streaming.
Yeah,
like anywhere.
Yeah.
Must be.
It is.
Yeah, it works great.
They were on sale, maybe like last Christmas or 2 Christmases ago for like $20, and so I bought like 5 or 6 of them just in case.
That's
smart. You're the problem.
Yeah. Well, no, because then COVID started, and now they're like $70 base. Like they're stupid hard to find, and they're very expensive. So like Logitech's probably making a shit ton of money right now just off of webcams in general, with everyone working from home. But streaming tech was definitely hard to get, Dan. So you weren't alone there. I think Elgato has had everything that they've ever sold on like back order for months.
I was lucky enough. I just got the like Stream Deck thing. They had that. Best Buy has had a lot of good stock. So Best Buy is where I got the Stream Deck and some other like the HD60 and everything. So they've been okay, but Amazon nothing.
Yeah, I had to wait. I recently, so my wall is originally green. If I like panned over, you'd see the edge of the blue and it would still be green. The entire room's green. It looks like a snot room. But when I painted this room blue, I still needed a green screen for a couple of the shows. So I was trying to get that Elgato green screen. It was on back order for 2 months. I finally got one for like $300, and I think they retailed like 200 or something. So a lot of price gouging out there, but
big time.
it is what it is. It is what it is. So COVID continues to change everything, and probably will for the next year or two.
It's not going to stop. That's the thing. We're never going to get back to that world either. It's just going to be like a sort of a skewed version that kind of like resembles the way things worked before, but it's never really going to be, because we'll have changed too. Like this is having such a crazy effect. Like, can you imagine, like, when has this ever happened that literally the entire globe is affected by the same thing in such like a, like every facet of life is affected? Even if you try and ignore it, or you don't believe it, or you don't wear a mask, like, it doesn't matter what you think about it. It's affected everything. I don't know when I'll get to travel back to Ireland. You guys probably don't, when you get to travel to visit family on the other side of the country. It's like, it's so strange in a way. Like, it's probably more normal for like me and JP in terms of the way we work than it is for you, Dan, because you obviously can't go to your brick and mortar work. But it's still like, you know, it's so strange. Certain pockets of life are totally the same, and other parts of it are, you know, irrevocably different. It's so strange.
Well, my job was going to be very heavily travel based. Traveling like with WWE and stuff, and I had so many trips lined up and everything when COVID happened, and it's like to go from like all of this crazy travel schedule plan to like, all right, well, now do your work from the closet for question mark amount of months, or you know, a year. It's been crazy.
And you mentioned it, kind of like life didn't really change for me. Like, I've always, work demands to be an introvert, right? Like, we don't leave the house or anything, but the idea, we've been thinking about just getting in the car and driving to Texas just to see family, right? Because I'm sure as hell not going to get on a fucking plane and drive down and fly down there anytime soon. But
apparently RV rentals have like skyrocketed.
Really?
Yeah, which makes sense, right? Because people don't want to stay in hotels either. So it's like, you know.
Yeah.
I'm actually Thursday, just for a change of scenery. My wife's family has like a little trailer down in North Carolina. And so we're going down there for 2 weeks. We're driving down there on Thursday, just staying in a trailer. And like, we booked like 2 weeks of internet service. So they're going to come by and install internet. I'm going to try to stream from this trailer for a couple weeks starting on Thursday.
Good luck.
Just for a change of scenery, just to like, all right, let's just hang out in this trailer and watch movies and work. Like, I'm still going to be working. So
yeah,
that's cool.
Huh.
Because normally you wouldn't be able to do that. Like, you know, if I was traveling or having to go into the office and stuff, that's not an option. You have to take 2 weeks of vacation. Where it's like, I was like, well, I could do all my work from there as long as we have internet. So let's try it.
Yeah.
That's why I've been eyeballing Ireland as well. At the constantly just sort of weighing up, like, does it, you know, at what stage do we go back to Ireland for like 4 months or something?
Are they allowing U.S. citizens? Because like the UK, England, I think you have to quarantine for like 2 weeks or something like that, right?
And you do in Ireland too, but it's not like South Korea where they're like, you know,
demanding
you put an app on your phone so they can tell you where you are. Yeah, it's not putting you in a hotel. But and it's pissing off Irish people a bit because they had a bunch of American tourists come and kind of just wander around without masks on in bars and stuff. So I don't know if they're going to change that, but I'll be allowed. I'm a citizen, so they can't stop me from coming home. The only thing they can is if there's no flights, that would be the thing. And there's no direct flights from SFO, and there hasn't been for this whole time basically. But I think they're starting up again in September. But we'll see. And my kid is an Irish citizen by birth, and my wife is my spouse, so she gets to piggyback that way legally. So we could do it. But yeah, I was lucky. Back in January, we went and filmed the Arcane documentary, and we were in Austin for some of it, and then we were in Lyon, south of France, for the other half. And I just like piggybacked home. I just jumped home for like 3 or 4 days and kind of caught everyone while we went to France. And I'm super glad I did, because yeah, God knows how long it'll be. It's already been a year since they've seen my wife and kids, so it'll probably be another year maybe before we get back if things even out here.
Yeah,
maybe a bit less. We'll see.
Yeah.
Well, I flew in late June, and I remember thinking that, like, okay, well, I doubt anyone's flying right now. I'm sure no airlines are booking middle seats and stuff like that. I bet it's going to be an empty
Yeah.
airplane anyway. Got on a flight to Minneapolis and back, and like packed flights.
Really?
Totally packed. Everyone's wearing masks, but and there was no food or drink service. But it's like I remember getting on the plane and being like, "Oh, this is not what I expected," and being real nervous for like 2 weeks after those flights.
So did people talk on the plane, or was everyone just like, don't breathe in my direction? Don't
No,
you
people
look at
talked.
me? Like it was just normal?
No, it was
God.
outside of the masks and the food and drink service. It was just like any flight I've ever been on. It was packed.
Huh.
That's wild. How long was it?
Yeah.
How long was the flight? Is what Daniel's asking.
It was New York to Minneapolis, so like 2.5 hours, 2 hours, something like that. Yeah.
Wow. Was it the same the way back?
Oh yeah, totally packed. Middle rows, everything.
Man.
Well, like, yeah, like, how can the business won't work, right? Like, how do you have half your seats or a third of your seats be gone? As well, like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, capitalism just doesn't work when this shit happens. Like in Ireland, like we spend a lot of our GDP on social services. We're one of the more socialist democracies in Europe. So people back home were like getting paid pretty good to stay at home from the jobs. Like unemployment was pretty high. But like it's just kind of doesn't really work here. Like that's why there's so many people still sick, because they're like mostly folks who have to work in their job because they're poor. So
yeah,
right.
And it's destroying like AMC and stuff. Like AMC was probably the biggest movie theater chain, and now they're like in dire straits.
When are you going back to cinema? Like I'm not going back to cinema for at least another year.
It was always like it was so funny when Christopher Nolan was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna put Tenet in theaters," and I just like, nah, you're probably not gonna do that. And then like a week later, all right, we've backed it up a month. We're gonna let you see it in August now. It's like, don't think so. And now it's like, all right, we're gonna put it out in Europe first, and then it's gonna come to America. And I think that's where they're currently at.
Right.
Because I think some places in Europe are like generally okay, and like movie theaters are a normal thing to go to again, from what I've read and seen, which just sounds bizarre to me to begin with. But yeah,
I kind of like the thing a few movies have done that like normally would have come out in the theaters, like King of Staten Island and stuff like that. It was cool to just be able to stream that, because like certain movies you want to, like a Star Wars or a Fast and Furious, you want to see in the theaters, but like King of Staten Island, it's like I was totally fine just watching that with Bianca, here in our living room. Palm Springs. I don't know if Palm Springs was ever planned for big wide release, but like comedies and stuff like that, you don't need like a huge theater experience for that. I love streaming stuff.
Yeah, that's been one nice thing to come out of this for sure. Is all the stuff.
Christopher Nolan's never doing that, right?
Do what? Oh yeah,
Christopher Nolan's never doing that. No chance.
No.
He loves his big, large format cameras and
it's, by the way, Christopher Nolan, MacGruber super fan.
Is he really?
He's obsessed with the movie MacGruber, which I already liked Christopher Nolan. Now it's hell yeah.
I need full disclosure. I've never actually seen MacGruber. I know exactly what it is. I know everything, but I just never sat down and watched it.
It's the funniest movie I've ever seen.
Yeah,
I've seen it literally 40 to 50 times. I'd say.
My fiance is a huge. She really enjoys it, so we might sit down and watch it one day. She hadn't seen Top Gun, and so we watched Top Gun like 3 weeks ago.
Cool.
That movie is just a mess in 2020.
When is that coming out?
That came out in 1980.
Oh, really?
It came in 1986.
You're kidding me, Dan.
Wait, you never saw Top Gun?
I know the volleyball thing. I know there's planes. I know there's Goose. I know,
dude.
I've seen scenes from it for sure, but like I don't think I've ever sat down and watched the whole movie.
It's a weird movie. Yeah.
You know what I hadn't seen until recently is Point Break.
I saw your tweets about that. Yeah. That's good.
That's wild. How did you miss Top Gun and Point Break? Top Gun Maverick is supposed to come out next year.
I was a Schwarzenegger and Stallone guy. Those were my things. I never saw a lot of Van Damme. I never really saw Steven Seagal. I know that's all very much in the same wheelhouse, but I was just like Schwarzenegger, Stallone.
Dude, have you watched like Jackie Chan movies?
I saw Rumble in the Bronx and the Rush Hour movies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's great.
I watched Rumble in the Bronx again last week.
Police Story is awesome.
Yeah. They're great.
Have you seen Time Cop, the Van Damme movie?
I rented Time Cop when I was a teenager, but I stopped watching because there was a scene with boobs in it at one point where there's like a VR sex thing or something. And I was afraid we were living in a small little apartment, and I was afraid my mom was going to walk in. And so I ejected the tape. No, I rewound it so she didn't see. I stopped right at the thing. I was very paranoid.
Smart.
Especially at that time. That was the exact same apartment we lived in when I was home alone, and somebody called the house. My friend John called the house. And you know how like the answering machine would go off, and if you picked it up after the beep, it would record your conversation, right?
Yeah.
So I was talking to my friend John, walking around with like the cordless phone, and there were 2 flies having sex on the TV. And I remember saying to my friend John, like, "Oh, John," I'm like 12 years old. I'm like, "John, there's 2 flies doing it on the TV. They're on the TV screen. They're doing it." And then I realized it was being recorded, and my mom might hear that. And at 12, I was so terrified of my mom knowing that I knew sex existed that I was like, "John, I have to go." And I hung up. I went to the answering machine. I opened it up, and I was like trying to figure out like, how do I make sure my mom doesn't hear this? And I tore the stuff out. I took scissors. I like cut it.
Oh my God.
And I remember my mom coming back and being like, "What the hell happened to this?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know."
Oh my God.
Wait,
Well,
did you leave it in the machine?
Yeah, I put it back in there because
up?
if it was missing, then obviously that didn't happen by accident. But in my head, like, oh, it mangled the tape. I don't know. I know I've told this before. If anyone's heard this before, apologies. This is the same era in which my friend Ryan had like Hustler magazines and stuff. And I was like, oh, it'd be great to be able to just look at boobs. That'd be great. My mom would find it. I can't just have like an issue of Playboy or something.
Right.
So I figured the one way I could do it without my mom ever having a risk of seeing it was I took my Game Boy camera to Ryan's place and I took pictures, like super pixelated Game Boy camera pictures of the Hustler pictures, because I was like, oh, well, there's no way my mom's going to figure out how to get to my Game Boy camera photo archive.
Wow. That's like,
yeah, that's
And she did it.
damn.
Yeah. And you got to enjoy those like 150 by 150 pixel boobs.
Did you
like,
take it to
Olive and black color? Yeah.
Did you ever take it to Blockbuster and get it printed out on the Pokemon Snap machine?
No, never went that far. No.
That would have been hilarious.
Hey kid, what's this?
Yeah,
Peaches.
Blockbuster employees just like, is this like ASCII porn? What are you printing out?
It's like a stamp of a boob.
Oh man, that would have been good. That would have been good.
These kids don't know how easy they have it these days with their red tubes.
It's true. It's true. We do another show called Drop Frames, and the other 2 co-hosts on that actually don't play Nintendo games, so I have to talk to, I hope, at least the 2 of you about Pokemon Snap 2 or whatever the hell they're calling that. Are you super into it? Dan, are you super into it?
That's one. I never really played Pokemon because I was never really into RPGs. But Snap, I was totally into Snap. That was that's probably the one I played the most of, honestly.
Same. Yeah. I was
Yeah,
trying.
I'm excited.
It's a weird thing to like. They were like, "So what do you do in Pokemon Snap?" It's like, well, you take photos of Pokemons, and that's the game. It's great. Like sometimes
instead of enslaving them.
Yeah. You don't. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's the PETA version. Of Pokemon.
It's the same thing when like people that don't play Animal Crossing ask you what's so great about it. And it's like, I don't know, you hang around, you talk to people, you can do stuff on holidays, the time's the same as the real time day, and like it doesn't sound exciting at all. You kind of have to do it, you know?
Yeah. You have to make sure that you have the sprays so that when the Diggler comes out, you can spray him and then he turns into the bigger version all that type of stuff.
Yep.
It's good.
Pester ball.
For sure. That was the best.
Yeah, it feels like people have been asking for that one for forever as well. Like that's been on like a wish list of Pokemon. Once they got around to like rebooting all the Pokemon Switch stuff, which they were fun. I like those ones. I'm not a huge like Nintendo. I didn't grow up playing Nintendo games. GameCube was my first one, but they were fun to play, and people seem to be into it. So yeah, it's cool that they finally got around to Snap again. It's been like there's only ever been one, right?
Yeah.
Or was there DS ones or something?
No, there's only been one Snap.
Just the one. I remember that game. Was it a launch game for PS3? Africa. That was basically a Pokemon game. Yeah,
that game was weird.
Remember that trailer for Africa?
Yes.
Did people? It's just a bunch of shots of animals, and then it came up Africa, and people were like, "What the fuck is this game?"
Yeah.
There's some rhinos.
Here's Africa. Here's the continent of Africa.
Video game.
Do it. Video game. Do it or what you will.
I want to see. Was it Tokyo Jungle? Do you guys remember that game?
Oh my god!
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that game was
I fucking
great.
love that game.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
It was so obscure and like nothing really made sense until it did, which was pretty late in the game.
Danny, have you seen that video of my dad playing Tokyo Jungle? He loved it.
Oh, what was his favorite? Was it the Pomeranian?
Yeah, I think he just played as the dog the whole time, and he was
Okay,
trying to like
yeah.
escape monkeys or something, and he just loved it.
Why did he love it?
He likes anything where you can just instantly go in and there's action and there's not a lot of like. I had him play The Last of Us in that like same sitting, and he hated it because he's like, "Why am I not
Story.
doing anything? Why am I watching this
Yeah.
stuff? I don't want to watch this stuff. I want to do stuff." And
Makes
so Tokyo
sense.
Jungle was like, "Do the thing. Just go do its action. You're a monkey or you're a dog." He loved it. He loved Goat Simulator. He likes anything like that.
Oh, nice. Yeah, my wife got super into Tokyo Jungle. It was on, I think, what's it called? PS Now. It's the streaming one, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
But the only problem was you couldn't access like the DLC for it. So there's like maybe, I don't know, like 10 of the more interesting animals like zebras and elephants and stuff are all DLC, but like you can't buy things from the old PlayStation store through PlayStation Now. So it was like kind of annoying because she'd played through all these animals and then couldn't access, like they're still on the screen, but you can't use them. So it was like I've been waiting for somebody to do like a 4K remake of Tokyo Jungle with all this stuff.
Yeah.
It's always such a weird thing on like PS Now or like the backwards compatibility stuff on Xbox. Like whenever it's like the interface is involved, where it's like, oh wait, I don't even
Yeah.
remember this old gamer tag icon I had, and wait, I can pull up the old achievements thing. Like it feels like you're accessing some like ancient technology you shouldn't have access to now, but you can
Totally.
still like, sign in and like get achievements. It's so weird.
Can you change your PSN tag yet? Have they? Did
Yeah,
they
you can do that now.
Does
Yeah.
it cost money?
Yeah, I've done it several times. It's like $5 every time if you got
Several?
Yeah, somebody took Dan Ryckert. I've got Dan Ryckert on everything, and
Yeah.
somebody took it. So I'm crunch bogus on PSN now.
Naturally. It's a great one. I'm still using my original one, which is my Quake ID, funny enough, which was Moogle.
Moogle?
Nice.
Yeah.
Moogle.
Yeah. My
Just spelled
original,
normally?
well, the Quake ID went from well, no, the PSN ID is
The
Moogle
E is a
underscore.
3.
It's Moogle
Okay.
underscore at the last thing, because someone, of course, had Moogle in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Quake ID was Moogle with 2 zeros as the O's. That were pink. They were carat 6, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it later on IRC, I just changed it to itmeJP, and that's why I kept it. But yeah. Yeah. So I need to change that. I didn't realize that PSN had changeable. Do you get one for free? Do you get the first one for
Yeah, I
free?
see chat saying that the first one might be free, and then after that it's
Okay.
10 if you don't have plus. It's 5
Okay.
if you do.
Ah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had to go with Danny O'Dwyer 2 because you couldn't change regions on PlayStation,
Oh,
and I have
God.
Danny O'Dwyer for Europe, so I had to make a second one.
Wait,
Whereas Microsoft, I just changed the region and I kept where I was.
it's not a worldwide account
No, so it's tied to the,
store?
I guess, probably the region code. Like yeah, so it is by store. Yeah, so it's,
Weird.
I guess it was European store, and then you can't change what location you're in for reasons. I think maybe they fixed that since. I can't remember, but on Microsoft they had just set it up maybe a year prior to me moving to the States, so it wasn't so hard. I just changed it, and then I could carry all my stuff over. So that's the one thing that sucks, is I have a shitload of PSN games going back to PS3, which are all
Oh, yeah.
on the other account. But
Yeah. That happened. We have there's a streamer by the name of Strippin who is from the UK. They lived in Los Angeles and then moved back to the UK, but he has accounts just in both places for like so many different games, and he just loses track because he doesn't know, like, I think like he has a World of Warcraft account or something.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's a killer one. I had to
yeah.
swap that stuff over. You had to like send them passport pictures and everything back then. I think it's
Yeah.
easier now.
I
But
hope
yeah,
so.
that was tough.
Literally used to be a nightmare. I remember having to send like IDs and, like you said, passports, because there was no other way to like verify who they were talking to.
Yeah.
Just to get your password reset. And it's just something so stupid. So yeah. So it's annoying, but I guess they were doing what they could to make sure everyone was not lying. It is what it is. You have 3 accounts on PSN: Hong Kong store, Japan, and North America. Jeez.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're pretty lax as well, actually. Like you can go on the Japanese, I think you can use like American cards on the Japanese PSN account, store. Or at least you could at one stage. I remember Gersman used to always get stuff off the Japanese PSN
Yeah.
store. Yeah.
I remember.
Demos and stuff even.
Do you guys, are you big Dark Souls players? Either of you enjoyed Dark Souls 3? Specifically Dark Souls 3?
No, I've not. I'm more of a Bloodborne.
Okay. So when Dark Souls 3 launched, the Japanese version came out, I think 2 or maybe 3 weeks before every other version. So in the streaming world, everyone made an Xbox Japanese account or a Japanese Xbox account to play Dark Souls 3 in Japanese early on stream because it was like a huge viewer get, right? So everyone played on that. And then a week later, they reverted it so that you could download the English version from the Japanese store, but it was a different client. And so you'd have to restart your game. And then I think they released it like a week early because they gave a bunch of streamers early access to like the normal English American version. So I think in like a 3-week period, there was 4 different games of that. And I think I played all 4 different games. And so I've played I've played Dark Souls 3 a shit ton.
It was the same with World of Warcraft in Europe. They launched it. I think it came out in like 3rd week in November. I think it was 2004.
Oh, the original release,
the same time as Half-Life 2.
Yeah.
Wow. Like not beta or any of that stuff. And then it didn't come out in Europe, I think, until January 2005. I want to say. So a bunch of us were like went in on the North American account, like got people to send us. Went on some forum and found somebody who'd buy it for us.
Yeah.
And then you played for like 2 months and then had to reset in Europe, which is kind of fun because then you sort of power leveled faster the second time around. But it was I remember doing that and then being like, all right, back to Elwyn Forest it is.
Yeah. Did you jump back into Classic at all?
I did. I went. I've gone back for a couple. I went back for Cataclysm, and then I went back for Classic. But I soloed those games mostly. I played some stuff with mates, but I played those games like an RPG, all but like exploring and stuff.
Yeah.
So I loved doing Cataclysm for that reason, and then I loved doing Classic again to sort of check it out again. So yeah, I did. It was fun. I've gone back a couple of times. A couple of months ago, I did when COVID started, I decided to try and walk the distance of my first ever WoW playthrough. So I started in Dunmora with a dwarf, and I tried to walk to Tenaris, which was tough because I was like level 13. So I had to like
aggro everything.
Get through a bunch. Yeah, it was tough. I think the only place I skipped was I couldn't get through Burning Steps, so I had to take the flight path from Ironforge to Stormwind. But apart from that, I walked everything. So I walked through the marshes in the north to get to
Dustwallow Marsh. Then you get to Ratchet.
To go to So it was fun. It took me like 3 or 4 hours. The whole playthrough's on my YouTube channel, but it was just like I'm locked inside the house. So I want to go explore, and that's why I always played those games. Was the worlds? They were just so fun to explore.
Yeah. Right now in Classic, the gates of Encourage are starting to open. So I don't know if you remember that, but it's people are like spending 20 hours of 24-hour periods of just farming right now, all trying to get like the stupid Scarab Lord title. So it's
do you
just
think
like
they're going to do
ago.
BC and stuff? Are they going to
I think it's all but confirmed at this point.
Yeah. Cool.
That'll
be fun. It'll be fun when the portal opens again. Like,
it's pretty crazy. Like even as recent as last week, I was jumping into Classic and like you'll go to Orgrimmar, and there's like hundreds of people there. Like
really,
just a shit ton of people every single night just playing WoW Classic. You would think with how that's like died down on the internet that the game is dead, but no, it's like just as busy as ever.
It's so hard to tell, man. It's like it used to be like the games industry bubble, and now there's like sort of like a streaming like bubble. I mean, we're all in our own bubbles, but like there's all these little pockets, and then you find out. Like I remember Grand Theft Auto Online was the big one, where like suddenly we were like 5 years after that game came out, people were like, that game's like still in the top 10 every week, every month, and like there's millions playing. Or Warframe was another one where like people were like, Warframe's big.
Had 500,000 people watching the stream yesterday for TennoCon.
For TennoCon? Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, 500,000.
It's funny, even though we've all kind of like worked in this industry and stuff, the times where you're just completely off. And I remember one time they wanted to announce Dota 2 when I worked at Game Informer. And they were like, hey, we're pitching this for a cover. And I remember it was between like Dota 2 and some other game. And I remember like an issue meeting with confidence, like telling Andy McNamara and people like, no one knows what Dota is. No one's going to care what Dota is. And we announced it. And we did it not as a cover. We did it as a like 6-page feature in the magazine and a website article. And I don't know if it's still to date, but the whole time I worked at Game Informer, it was the most page views we ever had for anything.
Oh yeah.
Meanwhile, I was in the issue meeting like, no one gives a shit about Dota. What the fuck's a MOBA?
Man, I remember when they announced that, because I was working at MLG, and I think it was in New York at their offices. I was in New York for like a month. That's the most time I've ever spent there. But I think you guys announced Dota 2 like online or whatever. And then later that day, someone at MLG was like, hey, we have these Dota 2 codes. Would you like to play? And I played Dota 1 religiously. Like I was a diehard fan. And so here I am, like, mid-20s, literally geeking out with like fucking just laughing hysterically to myself in the MLG offices playing Dota 2 while everyone else was like, what the fuck are you playing? Like, what is it? What is a MOBA? Like, why are you Why are you so excited?
I worked at Game Informer. I had never heard of Dota or a MOBA. It was just this outside of my bubble of like platforming console guy, and I just thought no one cared. Turns out it's a giant fucking thing.
Yeah, it's a big deal. It's a big deal.
So strange. It was almost as if like Counter-Strike jump maps became the biggest genre in the world. It was just like this offshoot of another thing.
I think that
like
was
quietly.
That was like YouTubers kind of blew that up, I think. Because it's easier to do those jump maps and also talk. And so that's what YouTube content became for a while. Was just jump maps and Counter-Strike and like opinion videos.
Surf
essentially.
maps.
Yeah, surf maps. Yeah. Those blew up on a little bit for Twitch, I guess, as well. Dan, now that you're streaming a lot more, are you clued into the world of streaming? Are you watching the data, or are you just doing your own thing?
The trends?
Yeah, the trends.
Not at all.
Yeah.
I am in my own weird little bubble studio here. I just play whatever I feel like playing. A lot of times that's old games. I'll occasionally if a lot of times my Discord or whatever will tell me like, hey, this Fall Guys game is coming out. It seems up your alley. You should check it out. And I'll look at it and I'll be like, oh, actually, yeah, that seems super up my alley and that'd be really fun to stream. I'm not like anti-new stuff by any means. I'm still playing everything. But I don't really know I don't watch Twitch. Honestly, I've never watched YouTube. I've never really watched Twitch, but I'm getting more used to it. Like I'm following people now because I like rating friends and stuff like that when my streams are done. So like I'm getting way more into it than I expected, but I've always been one that like, I hate watching people play video games. I hate it. Yeah. And I don't I've never listened to video game podcasts. I've never watched video game streams. I just kind of do what I want to do. And I'm very lucky that people have been watching. But I'm more into Twitch than I was before, but I'm still not watching, if that makes sense.
Sure. Okay. Do you have any do you have any subscriptions on Twitch besides your friends?
I think people have gifted me things. Oh, I don't spend money on.
Okay,
I don't even think
Twitch
has my credit card.
Yeah.
Do you have an Amazon Prime account? You don't even have your free sub?
Yeah. I got
your free sub.
Use my gift sub.
Yeah, you got to use your free sub. How do you think? No, you should. You're already subscribed to yourself, unless
you want that. You want that $3 real bad.
Oh yeah.
Unless you had like your wife's account and used that. And connected your Amazon Prime to your Twitch account.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
I'll talk to her.
Subscribe to yourself and get that money.
I do have a lot of friends that are on Twitch now. I should probably help them out.
You got to start. It's all about networking, Dan.
Yeah.
Welcome to the shit show.
It's great. I love it.
Yeah. You more than most, I think, are willing to try the quote unquote like fringe stuff on Twitch, where it's like you do the stream treats or whatever. What is that?
Oh yeah, I'm always eating grilled cheese burritos that the chat sends to me. It's great. I don't even know. See, that's the thing. I don't even know that's fringe.
Well,
it's literally
it's not fringe, but it's. I don't. Maybe I'm in a bubble here in terms of where I'm at. Maybe it's the norm, but I know you do that stuff, and I was like, wait, you can have viewers send you.
It's so funny.
Of course,
I saw Willa do that for the first time.
It's always somebody just like in my Discord or my chat being like, "Hey, did you know this is a thing? Here's an extension you can get." I'm like, "Oh, crazy! Let's try that." Like the whole crowd control thing I did last night with all the Mario games. Somebody in my chat telling me about it. The treat stream stuff. Like, yeah, I'll try whatever. I don't know.
Stream is like it's going to be like a Christmas tree. It's just going to be covered in shit. Like, come like to next couple of months, it'll just every plugin running at the same time.
I've only got a few. I know there's a ton, but it's like when something sounds cool to me, it's like, yeah, I'll try that. And I don't really know how widespread it is. I don't know how many people do it, but hey, I'm getting grilled cheese burritos out of it. So.
Yeah. I mean, I'm ashamed to admit that you got on your nightmare stream, as you were calling it. I think I spent a couple $100 on fart noises there. So It works.
That
I
was
guess.
Goodness.
probably my favorite stream I've ever done. That's on YouTube. If you look up the Nightmare Party on my YouTube, it was 12 hours long. I cut it down to a lean 11 hours and 16 minutes for the YouTube. That took a day and a half to upload.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful chaos that I loved so much. So that's my favorite.
Yeah.
Can I request a stream? Can you do your Game Boy Color Playboy
Game Boy Pocket. It was a green Game Boy Pocket.
sorry.
I put 4 pictures on there, and my mom probably sold it in a garage sale. I don't know if I had time to clear it off.
Can you imagine being the kid who got that? That's great.
Oh,
Here, Jessica. Here's your Christmas present.
The only reason I had that Game Boy is because my mom was a waitress at Macaroni Grill in Kansas City, and it was in the lost and found for long enough where they were going to get rid of it. And so my mom was like, "Here's a Game Boy." I had the camera with it.
Dang, lucky, crazy stuff, great stuff. All right, well we're at our time limit, so I think we'll call the show there. We'll do some shout outs here and wrap some stuff up. You guys don't do shout outs, I guess, on the normal podcast that you feature or that you're featured on, huh? Is this the first thing?
Shout outs?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to do some shit?
We put
pimp your stuff.
credits at the end of our videos.
I guess you do credits.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
you mean our shout outs, like our stuff?
Yeah, like generally like where people could check. We usually have people on the show, so I'll be like, so and so, you give an example, then they'll do shout outs. It's like a streamer thing. But
oh yeah. Dan, do you want to go first?
Dan, you want to go first? Where can people find
WWE Network.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I just set up danryckert.com to kind of be a hub for all of my links. I'm on Cameo. Book me on Cameo. danryckert.com.
Are you really?
It's awesome. I love
How much
Cameo.
do you cost? I'm gonna fucking buy a Cameo of you.
Do it, man. I've had so much fun. It's just cutting little promos every time somebody requests one. It's great. So yeah, danryckert.com's got links to the Twitch, the Twitter, the YouTube, the podcast I do with my wife Bianca, Painting the Stream. All those links are on danryckert.com. I got a whole lot. I got a merch store now. I got all sorts of stuff going on. It's great.
I
my
realize
favorite
now.
thing. Oh my god,
go ahead.
Dan's Cameo picture is the picture of him with long hair in college, which is my favorite picture of him.
Oh, right.
Where you're wearing the fucking Happy New Year bucket on your head and you look twisted.
Hang on, can you pull up the description?
Yeah, I need to explain this. I just realized that all of your viewers are confused to shit. We do joke shout outs here on this show, so that's why it says you work for the UFC and you're one to not go outside of the comfort zone. A bunch of people are like, he works for the WWE, not the UFC. So, you know.
Gotcha. Okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
It's just lost.
It's lost. His stage name is Daniel Bryan. You might remember.
That's right. Yes. Got a hell of a knee.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll be on, if you listen to the New Days podcast, I'm on tomorrow's episode, actually. So I'm just yelling about Rocky for a little bit.
There you go. Awesome. Danny, do some shout outs.
Yeah, I make video game documentaries. YouTube.com/NoClip video. I am not Anna Prosser, if that's who that was a second ago. I saw D&D and I saw Anna, so I figured I'd put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
Huge nature documentarian. Go to youtube.com/NoClip video. We're also NoClip on Twitch if you want to subscribe and never see me stream, because it happens once in a blue moon. Working on videos. We have a video on the opening level of Prey, the design of that, coming up next week.
Nice.
So it should be cool.
Nice.
Thanks for having me on, dude.
Yeah, thanks for both of you coming on.
Sorry about the internet connection here.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a California thing.
It's smoothed out.
Okay, yeah, it was fine for the rest of the show. But VMX, for whatever reason, just hates California. I don't know. I don't understand it. So, thanks to the both of you for being on. Danny, streaming later tonight? Can people check your stream out tonight?
No direct plans, but we'll see. It's always possible.
Okay, sounds good. That'll do it then for the pre-show. Oh, yeah, your Starquake. Everyone show off your Starquake. I need a Starquake.
I got to find a place where I can sell these. I got to reproduce these.
Dude, that would be like...
Starquake.
Yeah, I mean, how many do you have left? Surely.
Honestly, I have 2, and they're both faded, and they crack very easily now because they're 25 years old.
Oh, boy. There you go.
Let me know on Twitter if anybody knows a good place to get custom cups.
You got to be careful, though. You might have, like, Marty Stratton calling you up for, or Todd Howard for the Quake license.
Oh, right.
You got to be real careful there.
That's true. All right. Look for some Starquake cups soon from Dan Ryckert. And Danny's going to do a documentary about it on the Starquake. Yeah.
Call up my dad. You got his number.
Yeah. There you go. The foremost authority. That's it for the
It'll be the intro to Quake 3 where Sarge is like CG firing bullets, but it's actually just plastic cups hitting Strog in the face.
Huge
Perfect.
potential. It's going to take
Yeah.
over the influencer world. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks you two for being on. We'll see you next time here for the pre-show. We're out. Bye-bye.